You guys tap that screen, help out with the live goal. Let's get this thing's rocking and rolling. Nemo will be here soon, and we're going to get things cooking. What's up over on the tube? Hello, friends. Hello. This is The Meters. The Meters. One of the best bands out of New Orleans that you've never heard of. Or if you're cool, maybe you've heard of them. I don't know. All right, let's reset that live goal. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Yes, Shell, I am a couple of minutes late. You know why I was late is because I was finishing editing a nice video for our friend Torta from last night because he made a video about me. So I made one for him. If you guys would actually throw on a go check out that video and drop it a like and check that one out. Also, I did a stitch with our friend Oslo, and I'd appreciate if you guys would interact with that one because I really think that one deserves some attention. I see Olive. Let me check that out. Thank you. Yeah. I saw that in the group chat, friend. That's very disappointing. Very sad. All right, let's see what we got here. Joe,
Hello.
hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah, I did.
How old are you? What state did you vote in?
Yeah, 19, Florida.
Okay. Do you want to discuss one of the subjects that we have above or something else that Donald Trump is doing right now?
Yeah, let's talk about ICE because I support ICE.
Okay. What is it that you want to say?
And why do you call them a T group?
Well, what's the definition of terrorism?
I mean, do you want the exact definition? Because
Yeah, the actual definition.
okay,
I can tell
so
you. I can tell you if you don't know it. I can tell you.
yeah, I want to give you the actual exact definition. It's defined as an advocate or a practitioner of terrorism as a means of coercion.
No, you can't use the word to define the word. What's the definition of terrorism? So the definition of terrorism is the unlawful use of violence or intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims.
So how is ICE a DET group if they have always existed for like what 14 years?
Well, hold on. What does their existence have to do with anything that I just read?
Then now you're against it, but 5 years ago you weren't, or 3 years ago.
Hold on. You're shifting what you've asked me. You said how are they a domestic T group? Now I've defined terrorism,
Yeah.
which is I've said that it's the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. And now you're asking me
That's not
different
what they're
questions.
doing.
So, oh, that's not what they're doing? Cool. So, are they doing things like arresting U.S. citizens without warrants?
No,
They're not? Really?
no,
Are you sure? They're not. So they're not arresting U.S. citizens without warrants.
no, unless they're raising reasonable suspicion.
Unless they're raising reasonable suspicion. What does raising reasonable suspicion
Or
mean?
actually, if they're actually interfering with law enforcement, yes.
No. I said without a warrant.
Both
You
of them.
can't. I'm sorry. Hey, can you go into somebody's house without a warrant? Can you enter someone's home without a warrant and arrest them as a federal agent? Yes or no?
If they have committed a crime and they raised reasonable suspicion, yes.
That's 100% wrong. You
Beyond
literally
reasonable suspicion.
don't know
Nope,
the law.
not
That's
at all.
100% wrong. That's
Okay,
wrong.
Watch, I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Wait, well, hold on. Time out.
Yo, I got a question, Grok. Can ICE agents go into a house if they raise reasonable suspicion if someone has attacked them? So can
No.
they go inside
Oh,
the
no.
house and interfere, or-
Stop right there. You just added a qualifier. You said if someone has attacked them.
That's what I said.
No. That's not what's happening here. I'm talking about ICE agents just simply entering a house unprovoked.
Unprovoked.
Yeah,
And
unprovoked.
they have no reasonable suspicion.
No. See, here's the thing: to enter someone's domicile, it doesn't matter who you are as a federal agent. If you have reasonable suspicion to think that someone has committed a crime, you still have to go get a warrant to go into their house. That's how the Fourth Amendment works. Did you not know that?
Yes, dude, I did
Awesome.
know that, but it isn't.
Cool. So why do you keep saying reasonable suspicion? If they have reasonable suspicion, they still have to go get a warrant.
They have administrative warrants.
Yeah, except for the fact that they didn't have an administrative warrant. Oops.
How do you know that?
Because they didn't. Oops. Don't.
Who is that?
Who is that?
Is that an illegal?
Nope, that's a U.S. citizen. Federal immigration agents bashed open a door and detained a U.S. citizen in his Minnesota home at gunpoint without a warrant, then led him
What's
out
his
onto
name?
the streets. Chong Scott Tao told the AP that his daughter-in-law alerted him on Sunday afternoon that
Chong-
U.S.
I never heard of an American with that
excuse me?
name.
What's that?
I said I never heard of an American with that name.
You never heard of an American with the last name of Tao?
No. His
Oh wow,
first
that's
name, my bad.
crazy. Oh, you never. Oh, that's crazy. Wow, you're kind of dumb. Anyways, Asians have immigrated to America for the last 200 years. It sounds like you're just kind of stupid. But you're educated in Florida, so I don't blame you. But I don't blame you. I blame Florida.
He's a goat. We're on this.
Anyways,
Sure.
I understand your education system sucks, and you obviously don't know that Asian folks have been emigrating to our country for 200 years. So absolutely, we have people like that. Anyways, you were saying that ICE wasn't doing this. So if a federal agent enters a home without a warrant and then arrests a U.S. citizen, again, without a warrant, is that legal, yes or no?
No, if they don't have any common ground, I guess. To go into
Exactly.
the
So
house,
that's not legal, correct?
It's not legal, but I don't
Okay,
know-
great. So what's another word for not legal?
Illegal.
Unlawful. It's outside the bounds of the law. Okay, cool. So great. So now we've established that ICE is doing something unlawful. Fantastic. And is this
Okay,
man?
and I have a
Excuse me.
can I ask you a question?
No, you can't. I'm in the middle of speaking. So we've now established that ICE is doing something unlawful against a civilian, dragged him out of his home into the cold. That's pretty violent and intimidating. Wow. Oh, and at gunpoint, I might add. Wow, that's pretty fucked up. And by the way, this is all at the political whims of the Trump administration. So they literally fit every single definition of a T group. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, kid.
You didn't mog anyone, but sure.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Which part of that did you not understand?
The part that you so let me say this. Okay?
No, I want you to respond. Which part did you not understand? The unlawful part, the intimidation part, or the political part?
Yeah, and that
Which
and that
part did you
results
not
in
understand? The
lawsuits.
unlawful part,
That
the
results in
intimidation part, or the
lawsuits.
political part?
Has that happened to every citizen stopped? Yes or no?
Wait a second. It doesn't have to happen to every single citizen.
Yeah, and for the ones that happen, they go into lawsuits. They can, they can go into settlements. They can follow.
Just because you have a
reports.
remedy to try and go up against them in court doesn't mean it didn't happen, idiot.
Well, if it did happen, and guess what? People make mistakes. first. And I have a question.
Yeah, people make mistakes like shooting someone in the head. Like beating up a
No,
17-year-old, like
that woman,
kidnapping,
she was a
kidnapping,
domestic terrorist.
kidnapping a
She was a
17-year-old,
domestic
like
terrorist.
kidnapping a 17-year-old child who is a U.S. citizen from a Target,
Child.
and then beat a 17-year-old child from a Target, beating him up, and then dropping him 10 minutes away at a Walmart after
Why do
they
you say
figured
child?
out that
Can you
he was
say
a U.S.
teen?
citizen. He was 17 years old. If you're under 18 years old, are you a minor? Yes or no? If you're under
You can say
18
minor,
years
actually,
old,
yeah.
are you a minor? Cool. Awesome. So ICE grabbed a minor, beat him up, and dropped him 10 minutes away
Beat
after
him
they
up?
figured.
Wait,
Yup.
What's his name?
I will find his name if you give me a minute. I forget his name off the top of my
Okay,
head.
so okay, let me
So,
ask you
anyways,
this question.
so hold on.
Oh,
No,
wow,
I'm still.
guys-
You haven't
holy.
answered. Holy shit, dude! You haven't answered my original question. You keep pivoting away. I know this is hard for you to understand. Please tell me, which part did you not understand? And I'll say it slower because again, you went to school in Florida. Was it the unlawful part? Was it the intimidation and violence part? Which part was it? I'm so sorry. Which part of those things did you not understand?
No, I understood everything.
Cool.
It's just,
Then
I
you
don't
understand
how
that
you
it's
call,
awesome. Then
know,
you understand that it literally fits the exact definition of terrorism.
It wasn't an unlawful. Yeah, it wasn't.
It was unlawful.
No, it was not just
it was
because they
violence and
committed one-
intimidation. No, it wasn't just one.
Okay,
I've now
it
cited
was
3
unlawful.
different ones to you off the top of my head. Just off the top
Yeah,
of
they
my
were
head, I've
illegal,
cited
and
3
they
different
got
ones to you.
know,
Just off the top of my head, I've
can you
cited
cite
3
me
different
like
ones to you.
500 or 1,000?
Oh, so what's the threshold then where the number where it has to be before it is actual terrorism?
If it happens to everyone.
Okay.
Every single person.
Oh,
Because if
it
it
has
doesn't
to happen to every
person-
single person?
and- wait, can I talk for 2 seconds?
Sure, go for it, bud.
Can I talk for 2 seconds?
Sure, bud.
I have been stopped by an ICE agent before just because of my accent, not because of my skin color, because I'm white. But they tell me, right? Hey, are you a U.S. citizen? They're like, yes, I am. I'm like, yes, I'm a U.S. citizen. They take a picture of me. I don't know what they do, but it's law enforcement. So yes, I trust them. And they're like, okay, have a good day, dude. That's all they do. I mean, if you want to say that they're beating everyone up, guess what? It doesn't happen here because the government, the state is actually complying and they're actually helping ICE. The police officers are doing their job. Everyone's doing their job. No one's getting hurt.
Thanks for pivoting away. You still haven't answered my question. Which part of terrorism did you not understand? Was it the unlawful part, the violence and intimidation part, or the political part?
Bro, they're not terrorists. I don't know what.
I'm
you're
so
not gonna-
sorry. So I've given you the definition, and then I've laid out exactly how it fits the definition. So that's why I'm asking, which part did you not understand? Because I'll explain it slower for you.
Yeah, terrorists. Yeah, sure. At that part.
No. I explained the definition of terrorism. It's the unlawful use of violence and intimidation against civilians for political aims. Then I just explained how they fit each of those things.
Okay. Political claims or whatever you said. Yeah.
Political aims.
Yeah, political aims.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, okay, great. So now you understand how they fit the exact definition of a terrorist group.
No, they don't. But just
Except they
you said
do.
for political aims.
Oh, really? Oh, so what ICE
Can you
is
explain
doing?
that to me?
Okay, cool. So under ICE, have their tactics changed under the Trump administration, or have they always done this?
No, they just have enforced it more.
No,
Yeah.
no. I asked you a question. Have their tactics changed under the Trump administration, yes or no?
Tactics?
Yes, their tactics. The way that they enforce...
A little bit, maybe.
A little bit, maybe? Now, are we having a real...
not the
Hey,
same-
Joe,
ICE has the same goal.
are we having a real conversation here, or are you just being a disingenuous child?
If you want to call it a change, yeah, sure, dude.
Oh, if I want to
Their
call
goal
it
is
a
the same.
change? Okay, buddy. Anyways, so when we talk about political aims, what did Donald Trump promise to do during his campaign? What was his main promise?
Yeah, he promised. Yes.
What did he promise?
Okay, I'll tell you. Let me explain this. Ready?
No, you don't have to
He
explain it.
promised
It's
to
2 words. Say the 2 words.
Okay.
What did he promise?
Well, I can't even talk. Like,
No, because you're just not gonna
Spoiler.
because you're just not in good
let
faith.
me talk for 10. Let me talk for 5.
No, I don't think so. Anyways, it was mass deportations. It's just because you won't say the
Yeah,
thing.
people that broke the law.
No,
shit.
no, he didn't. He didn't say broke the
Wow.
law. He just said mass deportations.
What are illegal immigrants? Did they break the
Mass
law coming in, the border illegally? Yes or no?
There's no such thing as illegal immigrants. There's undocumented.
So if you're undocumented, that means you came in.
I love the
if that
nervous
means-
giggle,
listen,
kid.
if you're undocumented, that means you broke the law, right?
Anyways, I'm so sorry. Mass deportations means mass, which is in like all. So anyways, if we're talking about that, that is a change. That's a change in policy. So now the Trump administration has its own political aim that they're trying to reach, isn't it? Because that's different than what everybody else has said about deporting people, right? Has any other administration ever said, we're doing mass deportations?
Undocumented generally means you're not in compliance with immigration.
I'm sorry, I have no idea what that robotic voice is. I'm
essentially-
trying to talk to you, and if you keep doing that, I'm just going to drop you. Because it seems like you can't handle a conversation like an adult because you're a 19-year-old child.
You're not going.
What was that? Did you want to
Whoa.
talk this time, or did you want to have
Yeah,
your
I
little
do want
AI
to talk,
chat
but you're not
bot
going
talk?
based on facts.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
You're not going based
Did
on
Donald
facts.
Trump ask for mass deportations? Yes or no?
Yes, he asked for mass
Awesome. And has any
deportations.
other president asked for mass deportations in modern
Yes,
history?
Osama bin. Whoa, Obama. My bad.
Obama asked for mass deportations? Cool. Play me the
Yeah.
clip where he said it.
Got you.
Cool.
I'll play it for you right now.
I'm sure he said the
second.
words mass deportations.
And what's the problem with the words though?
No,
Ob-
just play me the clip. No more talking from you. Welcome in, Nemo. Guys, keep tapping that screen. Help out with the live goal. We
Anyway.
appreciate you.
It's playing right now. 1 second.
Cool.
When we spoke, you said that you weren't king, you were president. There were only certain things you could do unilaterally. As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks,
Yeah.
saying young people who have
What?
basically
Can you
grown
just
up
get to
here
the part where he says
are
mass deportations?
Americans that we should defend legally.
Can you just
So
fast
that's
forward to
not-
the
Yeah, I
part
think
where he
we-
says mass
It's
deportations?
just it's a long video, but I'll play it. Wait.
Yeah, just get to the part where he says I want to do mass deportations. Just get to that part, please.
We won't have to worry.
No. He technically
No, I
said
want
it, but with other words.
no. He didn't technically say anything. In
did.
fact, he was even talking about carving out for the Dreamers, which would also be undocumented people. So that means he doesn't want mass deportations. He literally wants
listen,
to help.
1,000 people
He
a
literally
day?
wants to help people who are here undocumented. He never said mass deportations.
1,000 people a day. I think that's
He
mass
never
deportations,
said
actually.
mass deportations. So
He was doing it, the
anyways,
act. He was making the act.
oh, cool. I got it. So, anyways, Joe down here thinks that just because Obama said that he was going to enforce the law like every other president did, that somehow that matches Donald Trump saying we're going to do mass deportations and then changing the tactics of ICE to basically be the fucking Gestapo.
Okay, wait. I have a question for you, and it's about
No, I want to know when Obama.
can't
I
talk.
want to know when Obama said they were going to do mass deportations and then started using ICE like the fucking Gestapo
He
for
committed
8
the
years.
act. He committed the act.
No, he didn't.
He had cages. He had
I
cages.
want you.
mean,
Oh, there it is. That's what they always go to. Nemo, I love this one.
Joe,
Let me talk because you guys are not letting me talk.
Hold on.
Listen.
Hold on.
Let me
Joe.
say one thing
Hold on.
before
No,
Nino.
no. We're
Oh,
not going to let
you
you.
guys-
We're not going to let
yeah,
you
sure,
say
it's not a
like one
50-50
thing.
now.
We're not.
2v1
Shut
right
up.
now.
Okay, calm down. So, thank you, Maureen, for the Blue app. You had some concerning things to say there.
Oh, yes,
Joe apparently was on MAGA Slayers Live, and he said he was pro Epstein and P3DO.
No, not at all. That's what they claim.
No, not at all.
ah. I got
That's what they claim.
I got the
That didn't happen.
I got the same message also.
No.
Thank you, Maureen.
Do you support Jeff?
No.
You support P3DO?
No, but let me say this, ready? Because people are mixing things, right? When you're sentenced, right? When you go to prison, you're supposed to reform. So I think everyone that goes to prison, their goal is to be reformed, right? The prison, like the justice system, was made now to reform people.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, I'm like, people deserve second chances, right? So
Why are all your
like
videos-
I can
why
repent
are
for my
all your
sins.
videos about Epstein?
They're not all.
Why are any of them?
Why are any of them? Because, like I said, just because people have committed crimes doesn't mean that their whole life or their whole personality is based on those crimes. Like,
I mean,
it's like saying
I
Trump,
feel like
right? Oh,
that's
he's
a
a
pretty
felon. He's a
important.
fucking.
He's
a bad
Pretty
person.
important part of their personality, don't you think?
I don't care about their whole. I don't care about their whole personality. I mean,
It's kind of like saying,
If it doesn't affect
I
me-
like playing Halo with Jeffrey Dahmer, and we don't talk about everything else.
And you
that
probably
Jeffrey
like-
Dahmer is known for.
yeah,
I
and you
just
probably
like playing Halo with Jeffrey.
yeah, and you
Dahmer.
probably
Like, what
play
the
with him
fuck?
because he's skilled, right? I mean,
What?
technically, you could play with him because he's skilled. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer could be the president, right? Legally, he could be the president. Am I wrong?
What kind of question is that?
Because I mean, you're saying that yes, I can agree that he was a bad person, right? But just because you play Halo with him doesn't mean that you're a bad person too, right? Or am I wrong?
What?
Because you're telling me that just because I reposted something about Epstein, I'm a bad person, or I'm a PDO3 supporter or something?
You're saying something as if it's just one instance of you doing it. Also, you are seemingly proving the claim that you are pro Jeff and pro P3DO.
No, bro. What?
No,
Bro, not at all. Because of the videos don't have any victims in it.
Why do you have a video where the why do you have a video where the caption says the hate on Big Stein is so forced with a sad face
You're
and a
lying.
rose? Oh, I am?
Yeah, you were lying
I'm lying.
on my name.
I really am? That's interesting. Okay. Well, you know what? Since I'm lying,
You are.
good thing that I've got access to TikTok right here. And I can actually pull up your username that everyone can see, by the way.
What do you guys like doxing people though? That's a little bit weird.
Doxing
Oh, if only we could.
doxing you with your public username that everyone can see right now? That's weird. How is that doxing?
Because you're going into people's private accounts, I guess, or privates.
You mean your very public TikTok account?
I got 14 pages that follow me.
Oh man, that's interesting. Anyways, you
I
reposted
don't-
this video right
You reposted
here.
the other one before. Is that a bad video? Reposted.
You reposted
Yeah.
this video right here that says the hate on Big Stein is so forced. Sad face, Rose. You reposted that video.
Mhm.
Why would you repost a video sympathetic to Jeff?
When I checked the video out when it popped up in my For You page, I reposted it because of the video, not because of the title.
Here's
It's-
another one that's sympathetic to Jeffrey
That one's
Epstein.
actually cool. You can play the music. Can you play music? Can you
Quote,
play the
he was
video?
a bad guy. Quote, I wasn't invited. That's interesting. Also really fucking weird.
Play the music. Actually,
Here's
Can-
the next one that
Oh.
just says, what a good guy in the caption.
Yeah, look at the video. Isn't that what a good person does?
Anyways, you're
Like what?
hey kid, I'm just gonna tell you this one time. You're disgusting, and you need to
You're disgusting. You don't care about the country
really.
because you want. Let me say this, right? You want people that commit.
No, I don't think so. W's for Tammy for that kick. We're not entertaining
Yeah,
that shit.
Fuck off, J-Rez.
Yeah, and don't come back. Don't come back. I have no desire to speak to you again. Thank you. As I mentioned before, thank you to Maureen also. You sent me the same thing. I apologize I didn't see it. And W's to Tammy for the boot. She gave him the boot. All right. Guys, keep those taps coming. We're going to keep talking to Trump supporters. Tanner, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, I did.
Cool. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
Are you and Nemo a couple of faggots?
Oh, that's,
You suck each other.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, TikTok, by the
Is
way,
that
we
a proposition?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it. TikTok, we don't endorse what that guest said. As soon as he said that word, we dropped him because that is against terms of service, and we absolutely don't endorse what that guest said. So, anyways, but what we do love is the TikTok shop. We love the TikTok shop. W's for the TikTok shop. All
Tanner's voice is too high for me. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, talking about a, like, quick. Man. If you wanted to see us together, Tanner, like, we could just, like, if you want to pay for some content, man.
I feel like there are ways.
Listen, like, Nemo and I are desperate enough. There's a number. I'm not going to say what it is, but there's a number, okay? Anyway.
There is no ethical consumption under capitalism. Brings a whole new meaning to that statement.
Anyways. Mac, did you vote for Donald Trump?
What's up, libtards? Yes, sir.
Cool. Great start. How old are you? What state did you vote in?
29, Wisconsin.
Okay. Do you want to discuss one of the subjects above or something else that Donald Trump is doing right now?
Nah. I just slapped the shit out you.
Oh, that was it? So you can't debate because you're too fucking dumb? Okay, cool. Anyways, we'll see you later. Wow. Man, they are really fucking stupid tonight. All they've got is names. They can't even talk about politics. Damn. They're just on the fucking end. Like, this is the death rattle, you guys. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the same guy from yesterday who waited for 30 minutes just to call me a tool.
Oh, that guy. And now he just waited however fucking long just to come up and be like, okay. Wow. You really did something. Boy, how will we ever recover? Anyways.
Obviously doesn't know the meaning of tool, right? Right? Like, I am useful, okay? I have a purpose. All right. So me being a tool, it's a good thing. Also, Fibonacci sequence. Lateralist. Yeah.
All right, let's see here. By the way, I want to say thanks, Crow. Crow pointing out if you're in the Lehigh Valley, activists have launched a hotline to combat ICE operations in the region. I'm gonna post that up later on in the Discord. I'll post it publicly in Nemo's Discord so that if you guys want, we can have a if you want a resource to that, I'll post it up and I'll post it over in Ari's as well. So we'll make sure that if you guys want that, especially for those folks in the Pennsylvania area, it's an ICE hotline where if you see them, you call it, and then a bunch of people will show up to support. We love that. That's fucking awesome. Thanks, Crow. All right, let's see who we got here. Once again, guys, we're just looking for Trump supporters right now. If you vote for Donald Trump, hop in the box. Shelly, hi, did you vote for Donald Trump? Shelly? Okay, I'm going to guess that might have been a mistake. Guys, continue to help out with the live goal. We appreciate that. Make sure you do the same with gifting Nemo as well. Both of those things, along with taps, help drive us out to the FYP, and we can get some more guests. Also, if you want to offer your support, we can do so via links in our bios. If you're over on the tube, you can find those links in the description down below. Please make sure that you've subscribed to us over there and subscribe to Nemo as well. His link is also down below. Joe, hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
I did. You guys need a foil, so I'm going to volunteer.
You did vote for Donald Trump, okay. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
I'm Moses. I'm 70. Actually, he was a lot older. He was 900.
Yeah, and what state are you in?
I'm in California, but I grew up in Massachusetts, Matt.
Okay, cool. Nice. What part?
Western Mass.
Western Mass. My family's from Western Mass. Where in Western Mass?
What town?
Well, I don't want to say exactly, but it's the Springfield area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Springfield area.
Springfield?
Yeah, Springfield area.
Okay, Whip City here.
What's that?
Does that mean does Whip City mean anything to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Well, I used to go to let's just say that I used to go to Bradley's when I was a kid. How about that? All right. So.
Gotcha.
All right. Anyways, well, Joe, would you like to talk about one of the? You want to talk about one of the?
Yeah, let's do the most. Looks like the most controversial one here is the domestic terrorist group. ICE is a domestic terrorist group, and probably go over this over land you've already plowed, but so be it. I'm sure you're here every night doing the same thing. What makes them a terrorist group? And then I can respond.
Before we dive in on that, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Thank you, Tammy, for the Blue app. You said, for my favorite tool. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'm glad that I'm your favorite tool, Tammy. Thank you. And Crow, thank you for the Blue app. You said, would you say that you're open to seizing the means of Matt's production? Perhaps.
Oh boy. Oh,
the world may never know.
We've opened up Pandora's box with that one. And real quick, thank you to Tara on the Blue app. It said she says just use Grok. It'll distribute CSAM if you want. So thank you, Joe. Appreciate your patience. I'm getting back to sorry, and I do apologize. One more thing. I have a couple of super chats to read off on the tube. Nina says, today's whistleblower memo says otherwise, OMFG. Nina also says, I'm tired of Latinos for Trump, TBH. Nina says, because he probably is one. I've heard him before. Kick. Yeah, heard him before on Dean and Parker. Kick, Matt. Thank you, Nina. We did end up kicking him. Thank you to Tammy's generosity. Thank you to your generosity over on the tube. We appreciate all of you fine folks, both here and on the tube. I'm sorry, Joe. Thank you for your patience again. So to define what we're talking about here, we do need to define the word terrorism, right? To make sure that we're all on the same page. So the actual definition of that word, which I think we should go by the actual definition, the dictionary, in the Oxford Dictionary, it's the unlawful use of violence and or intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. That's terrorism. So we believe very strongly that ICE fits into that in a very simple way, almost too easily. It's scary how easily their actions fit that definition.
Okay. Let's go through what actions then. Let's go through them.
Okay.
I'm sure you've done this many, many times.
All right. Well, just kind of to start, right? We could talk about the fact that just the other day they broke down the door of a U.S. citizen without a warrant and arrested him unlawfully and detained him for many hours, but at gunpoint, by the way. And then when they found out that he was a U.S. citizen, they just dropped him back off at his house without so much as a sorry. And they're just like, oh yeah, well we were looking for someone else. Well, it doesn't matter who you were looking for. You can't break in a door without a warrant.
Well, it would matter. It would matter under exigent circumstances, but I'm going to guess there were no exigent circumstances.
You're correct. I will give you the caveat. And by the way, my partner's a federal attorney. I've talked with her at length about warrant situations. What situations is it okay for federal law enforcement to enter a home without a warrant? And those exigent situations are actually pretty few and far between. And
I agree.
And there's almost no situation that we've been in that ICE is allowed in any of the situations that they've been in to have done so. For example, the situation I'm sure you may be aware of, the one in Chicago where they landed the Black Hawk helicopter in the dead of night and they busted in windows and used flashbangs in that apartment building and pulled U.S. citizens out along with undocumented folks, and they never showed warrants in that case. Did you know about that one?
I remember,
okay.
I remember the case.
All right, so there's
I'm
that
not
one.
exactly-
So what? I'm sorry.
You can clear this up for me. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm not exactly clear on the warrant situation because in terms of going to houses, obviously I think a warrant is required. Are these warrants also required to be presented on the street when they pick up? Because I've not seen one warrant produced.
Administrative warrants are needed for them to go. Okay. It's a little different. There's judicial warrants, there's administrative warrants, and there's a couple of different things that are happening here. Administrative warrants need to be produced by ICE to say this is a person that is to be deported, that we are picking them up and to be deported. That's an administrative warrant that's coming from ICE. Different than a judicial warrant that would say, for example, like you're going to a judge and saying, we want a warrant to go enter Joe's house because we have suspicion of X, Y, and Z. That's different.
Right.
So we've got the administrative warrant,
Right.
but it's still a warrant. They still have to legally have to produce a warrant, and they have to say, this is a person that we're going after, and this is the reason why, and this is what we think. They still have to do that.
So let me ask you this: did you ask your partner? Because I've never seen it in the multiple videos I've watched. There are these people on the streets either pretending to be lawyers or they're just citizens saying, show me your warrant, show me your warrant. And I've never seen any one ICE officer produce a warrant. Do they have to produce a warrant at that point to anybody or even a lawyer?
So my understanding on that, the only person that they're obligated to produce a warrant to is the subject of the warrant or their lawyer, right? So somebody on the street saying, hey, you have to show us the warrant.
Just wasting their time.
I mean, they should either... they're more than likely trying to tell the person who is being targeted, ask them for a warrant now on camera. Like, do that. Because in theory, they could get in trouble for that later on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. There is a
Have
difference
yet to-
between
I've yet to
and-
see it.
yeah. So I've seen videos of people who have demanded warrants like be produced, and they have to demand over and over and over, and the ICE is just delaying and not giving them the warrant. And when they do give the warrant, it's an administrative warrant. It's not a judicial warrant, which judicial is the only one that ultimately matters when it comes to I am going to now forcibly enter your home without your permission.
It's the
So
Joe, I just want to clarify one thing as we move on.
Yeah,
Arresting people on the street and different things like that is far different than entering someone's domicile, and it's not necessary in the same way, in the same manner. There are differences it's not the same as U.S. citizens getting arrest warrants. It's not the same. I will say that.
Well, you don't need
obviously.
You don't need a warrant to arrest somebody on the street if they're a U.S. citizen either. So I understand. I understand.
I just want to clarify because I don't want anyone in here to think that we're saying you must have that or that's something you have to produce, because I certainly don't want to give out the wrong information. We're not saying that. But specifically, we're talking about the fact that federal law enforcement, under no circumstance other than the exigent circumstances we mentioned earlier, which are clearly not applying here, that the law enforcement officers cannot break down your door without a warrant and pull you out of your home at gunpoint. They
Agreed.
can't.
Now,
So
right. We've given two examples. One with the U.S. war veteran, and the other with the helicopter. And I don't know all the details of that. In fact, I don't know much of them. But they were going after gang members, allegedly. Yes.
Allegedly, that's what they said, but we don't
know. Did they find those gang members?
We don't know. We don't know exactly how many people they really found. We don't know exactly who they were going after. We've never seen the warrants that they would have needed. Now, that situation, they would have needed actual warrants to go into people's domiciles. And by the way, the law says that even in an apartment building, you can't just have one warrant like for the apartment building, and then therefore you can go into every apartment.
Specify the unit. You have to specify the units.
Yeah, but what they did was they just went into the entire apartment building and literally pulled everyone out of the apartment building. They were going in through windows, like rappelling down, like it was some kind of like SEAL operation or like what the fuck. So there's that. I mean, and we could kind of like keep going. There was the 17-year-old kid who was a Target employee who I guess mouthed off to them a little bit, but basically ICE did not assault them in any way, did not touch them, didn't do anything that was illegal, and they basically kidnapped him and beat him up and then dropped him back off. Did you hear about that one?
I did. I think I saw him after the altercation. How many deportations have there been, to the best of your knowledge, so far in the Trump administration?
Well, hold on. Before we move on, and we can absolutely talk about that, Joe, but do you understand the pattern of the unlawful part first?
I recognize your concern, certainly. I as an American citizen, I'm armed. I have a weapon. I would not like uniformed police of any federal, local, state, I don't care, banging down my door without a warrant. That's very dangerous for both of us. That's a violation of my Fourth Amendment rights, right?
Yes,
so I wouldn't want that to happen. And I'd like to know more about the apartment building, because if they felt there were automatic weapons in there or something, these guys were a real danger, I could see some of that. But putting citizens in danger doing that, I can't abide by that. That seems a little dangerous to me to do that. They could have waited for those guys to leave the building at some time and grab them. So that's why if you got any more of these instances that you want to talk about?
Well, I mean, those are just some of the instances. Of course, we could talk about Renee Good. We could talk about their
Renee
actions
Good's the
towards.
most famous one, obviously. Yeah.
Sorry, what's that?
The thing about the Renee Good thing is that I think the guy obviously could have handled that so much better. And whether he's prosecuted for that or not, I'm not gonna make any presumption. I'm not a lawyer. I've heard all the arguments about he put himself in danger. I've seen her behavior too. It was stupid. I think all this protesting in these guys' faces is stupid because they have weapons.
Hang on. Time out though. Are we as American citizens allowed to protest them?
Protesting is fine.
Are we allowed to? Hold on, Joe. Listen, this is really cut and dry, my friend. I understand that you want to say, well, they can protest, but they shouldn't do this. This is very black and white, my friend. Very, very black and white. Either they're allowed to exercise their First Amendment right and they're allowed to protest, or they're not. So if they're allowed to protest, we have to allow them to protest. And ICE is the government. And because ICE is the government, they're not allowed to retaliate, right?
Look, I agree totally, but it's one thing. It is one thing to protest peacefully, right? Peacefully. And it's another thing to put yourself in harm's way. I would advise anybody, again, I bet your partner would agree with me on this one. Obey law enforcement.
Hang on. How is protesting putting yourself in harm's way? If you're protesting, how are you putting yourself in harm's way?
I'm particularly talking about Renee Good now, okay? So give me a little rope now, okay? Give me a little leeway. And listen, I would advise people not to.
No, I'm not asking, Joe. I'm not asking for advice. I'm not asking for you to tell our audience advice. We don't need advice. I'm asking you specifically, how is it that protesting and exercising your First Amendment right against the government means that you're putting yourself in harm's way? Because when you say something like that, what that means to me is that ICE is definitely fitting the definition of a terrorist group because the intimidation part is working.
Yeah.
The intimidation part is working because what you're saying is, hey, don't go out there and protest because something might happen. That's called intimidation. That's intimidation. That's intimidation.
That's not a fair conclusion of what I was
But
going to
that's
say.
literally intimidation.
But stop me. You stopped me before I could finish.
Okay.
All right. All I'm saying is that we're all familiar with protests, and some of them go overboard. They block highways, they block freeways. You wouldn't say that that's a fair protest, would you?
Yep.
You would say blocking interstate or intrastate travel is protest?
I hate to say it, but unfortunately, some people being inconvenienced on the road for a little bit it's absolutely a valid form of protest. Sorry, hate to break it to you. You know what? You know what? And you know what? And you know what? They can come in and they can clear the people out of the street and they can resume regular traffic activities, but people are allowed to march and people are allowed to protest, and we live in America and they have their First Amendment rights. I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question then. I want to ask you a question back at you. So during the 2024 election, all of these Trump caravans, like the trucks and the cars and all these different things that were driving on highways and had flags and were doing all these different things, and they were slowing traffic down, or they were having these parades in town and they were bothering people, or the boat parades, or the this and that were cutting off traffic in the intercoastal in Florida that people were upset about and marinas were upset about. Should those people have gotten in trouble? Were they wrong for protesting in that way?
If they were breaking local or state ordinances.
They weren't breaking local or state ordinances. They were just bothering people and inconveniencing people.
And if they weren't breaking local or state ordinances,
great,
then that's fine. I'm almost certain I'm not going to research it, but I'm almost certain that thrusting yourself onto a freeway and blocking traffic on a freeway is illegal.
You can
I'm
walk
almost certain of it.
as you protest. If you want to walk across a road, you can walk across the road in protest. It's called civil disobedience. And if the police want to move you, they will move you and they'll direct you to be somewhere else. Have you never heard of civil disobedience, sir?
I've practiced it.
Okay, cool. So then you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I would never.
Yeah, but.
never-
Yeah, there's no yeah, but.
Yes, there are buts.
What civil
That's
disobedience?
what law-
Awesome. What
that's
civil
what-
disobedience
that's
have you
what law-
practiced? What civil
that's what
disobedience
law-
have you practiced?
I'm not going to go into that.
What do you mean you're not going to go into that? You don't want to say
gonna go
what
into
you
that.
great. So you don't want to say what you've done, but you want to condemn everyone else for doing it.
I'm not condemning anyone.
You're
Why do you
literally
use that
condemning
word?
you're condemning other people for doing it.
No, listen, simply advising people. Like,
We don't
Give
need
me an
your
example.
advice. And if you're advising people that the thing that they need to do is not protest their government and exercise their First Amendment right
Wrong word.
because, okay, then what is it?
okay, I won't be so presumptuous as to advise people. Here's what I would say. In this tragic event with Renee Good, you can say the officer shouldn't have done that and yada yada yada. It's all very righteous. Who's dead? Renee Good is dead. Who wins out of that?
No one wins because of the fact that the officer who shot her is a murderer and because of the fact that he broke the law and ICE broke the law. That's
And
the
if she
problem
had-
here. And
but if
no. What we don't do, Joe, is we're not going to victim blame.
I'm not victim blaming.
You
I'm-
see, what you just said was if she hadn't, because what you just were about to do was say that if she hadn't done X, Y, and Z, then she'd still be alive. And that's called victim blaming. The only thing that she did was her car was halfway sticking out into one lane of traffic. Plenty of people were able to go around her. There was no active operation happening on that street. There was no reason for ICE to stop her. In fact, the guy who shot her was able to drive right the fuck around her car without any issues, wasn't he?
I am not.
Why didn't he
disputing-
just drive right the fuck on with the rest of them? Because they weren't even supposed to be stopped on that street. So, instead of defending a murderer and saying, well, if Renee Good just hadn't been there, she'd still be alive, which is victim blaming, you could say everyone has a right to their First Amendment. And if you think that they shouldn't be doing it because something bad might happen to them, you are proving our point that ICE is intimidating people to stop protesting and to not use their God-given First Amendment right.
Okay, so if you think that massing on interstate highways, blocking traffic, doing that kind of behavior is a
I notice
is a
how you've
legit-
now pivoted away from Renee Good because you don't want to
No,
talk about that.
I'll stay with it, but of course, if you're going to say I'm blaming her, you're absolutely wrong. What I'm trying to say is these people have guns, right? You're putting yourself into a situation that's volatile by nature, okay? And you're asking the officer to be perfectly responsible and be
Yes.
perfect
Yes.
every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yes, and humans aren't perfect every time.
Then he should be fired.
No, that's the point of life. We make
No,
mistakes.
no, dude. Like
constantly.
this is the thing is that when it comes to police, there is a higher standard. That's the point. Like the argument that, well, hey, nobody's perfect, that doesn't fly when we're talking about a life or death situation. That's the equivalent of like what you say whenever a doctor loses a patient. Saying, hey, well, shit happens. No. If the doctor was at all negligent during their administration of care, they are absolutely culpable for that. So, like, to say that, well, they have to be perfect, yes, you have to follow the law. And when it comes to the recognition of somebody's rights, they have to respect it because they are the enforcement arm of the government.
Okay.
And these rights exist to protect us from a tyrannical government.
Okay.
If they cross that line, then they are essentially engaging in authoritarian bullshit.
Okay. So you're including his screw up as part of the terrorist theme, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So he screws up. He's a terrorist.
Well, it's not really a screw. So, okay, explain a screw up to me.
Well, I'm using, vernacular. You want to hold me to some particular precise form of language?
Well,
All
no,
right.
I'm not trying to be like pedantic. So can you just like kind of very quickly give me a gist of what a screw up is
In his situation, or just in general?
in general?
You make a mistake that if you had time to think or to do over, you would have done something different. It's a screw up. It happens in life.
Okay. So if it was just one shot, then you could argue it's a mistake. Like if you want to be super overly unfairly charitable to him, right?
Yeah.
To give him the benefit of all doubt, right? Then you could say one shot is him being, heat of the moment. Oh, fuck, whatever. I slipped and fell or whatever.
Yeah.
Not shots 2 and 3. That's not a screw up. That is intent. That is hate. That is,
Yeah. Well, you're never gonna.
I assume it's
never
mens
gonna
rea.
prove that.
Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure that's mens rea. Like that's him showing that, oh no, this wasn't about me reacting to a life-threatening situation, right? Because that only applies in shot 1, arguably. Again, I don't agree with that argument. But if you were trying to make that argument, it only applies to shot 1. It doesn't apply to shot 2 and 3.
Well, I'm not
shot
trying
2
to
and
make-
3 are purely punitive. It's
I'm
purely
not
about punishing that mouthy little bitch that was that said, "Hey, dude, I'm not mad at you." Well, I'm gonna punish her because blah blah blah.
but
That's
Nemo-
that's what that was. That's not a mistake.
Nemo, I'm not trying to make any argument about that. What I was including, we got dragged into the Renee Good thing because it's part of these events that are establishing that ICE is a domestic terrorist group. I want to get completely concentrated on that issue because,
and that's fine. That's fine. So I guess my point is that in his case, it wasn't a screw up. In his case, it was intent, right? It was intentional. We also know that it's intentional because ICE actually has a history of doing this. So there was a report that dates back to 2014. There was an investigative report that had come out that showed that CBP and ICE were intentionally putting themselves in front of cars on the off chance that they could then draw their weapon under the guise of, oh, we got to stop the guy that's trying to run me over. That's real.
okay,
That is real.
well,
And
so
that's
this-
from 2014.
all right.
And
So
this,
now that leads into what I was asking earlier. How many deportations have there been in the Trump administration?
I don't know the exact number right now.
Is it 200,000? Is it 300? Is it 400?
Well, we can
I
take
don't
a
know.
look.
I can pull it up.
I mean, the problem is, Joe, is that the numbers aren't super reliable, but we can try to see if we can figure it out, because
Would a good death suffice?
well, we can see what they're saying.
All right.
Okay, so public statements from the Trump administration claim roughly 600,000 deportations. Independent estimates that focus on actual ICE removals put the deportations in the neighborhood of 310 to 315,000.
Now let's say we've not heard about all of the times that these ICE guys have acted let's use the word inappropriately at the very least, okay? Extra legally or illegally. Let's say it was 100 times. Would that be sufficient number for you guys to say a domestic terrorist group, or does it just take one?
So if there was nothing else that ICE was doing, and it was just like that, like if we were just trying to point at, well, this is what Jonathan Ross did, and because Jonathan Ross did it this time, that makes ICE a terrorist group. We're not saying that. Like that, it's not solely that. One person that is part of ICE committing a crime or unaliving someone under the guise of the authority of ICE, that does not make ICE a domestic terrorist group, right? What makes ICE a domestic terrorist group is the behavior of ICE itself broadly, right? So people in ICE have pointed to Jonathan Ross and his actions and have said, didn't you learn your lesson from that? We have multiple examples in Minnesota. People have caught on camera other ICE officers referencing what happened with Renee Good.
I saw
when
that.
they're like sitting here talking to whoever the fuck.
All right, you
so that
I
is
saw-
intimidation.
I saw that. I saw at least one of those instances. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
did see them. That gave me great pause. I will be very honest. It gave me great pause. How about do you know how many people died under ICE care during the Obama administration? I'm not trying to tease an answer out of you for any purpose.
during the entirety of the Obama administration.
Yeah,
So you're saying
during the
over
entirety, yeah.
8 years.
Over 8 years.
Hold on. Are we saying under ICE care or
You know
total
what?
under
You know what?
DHS in CBP?
Well, under ICE care. They were under ICE's care, and I think it's 56.
Okay. So 56. Okay, got it. So 56 people over 8 years.
18 of them children.
Okay, that's really terrible and that's really unfortunate. 56 over 8 years is terrible and still unacceptable. Do you want to
But
guess?
not terror.
Do you want to guess the number just for last year that we know about for sure under the Trump administration?
40?
33 in one
Okay, that's
year,
close.
just that we know about. And that's not even getting into the 1,500 people that are just missing from Alligator Alcatraz, a literal concentration camp.
So my point was going to be, you wouldn't include those 56 unless we investigate them and so forth. But that's not terror. That's just incompetence or ineptness, correct?
Well, hold on. If we're going to be fair, right, and we're going to actually look at like the rate of those things happening, you're talking about 56 people over 8 years, which I think is really fucking terrible. That's really fucking terrible, by the way. I don't like that at all, and I still think that Obama did some things wrong with deportations. But
my point is not to attack Obama.
right, but
I'm simply
but
asking,
Joe, but
would you include those deaths
No.
as terror?
No,
Okay.
because
All right.
here's why. I just cited you 1 year under the Trump administration, and we know about 33. We just know about 33 of them.
Yeah.
So if we only know about 33 of them, and like I said, we've got literally, and when I say literally, I mean literally, not figuratively, 1,500 people
Right.
that are missing, under from Alligator Alcatraz. So we've got all of those, and then you add in all of their tactics. Masking. Why are they all wearing masks? Why are they using extrajudicial tactics? Why are they lying to people? Why are they not using warrants? Why are they, et cetera, using excessive force? Why are they doing all these things? Why are they saying to people, "Don't you remember what happened over there?" When you add it all up, it becomes incredibly troublesome.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Has ICE responded since the Renee Good tragedy. And if it's a murder, it's not a tragedy, it's a murder. But have they responded in terms of retraining or changing their policy at all?
No.
No, J.D. Vance literally, the vice president of the United States came out and said, you have absolute immunity. Go do what you need to do. Stephen Miller, the deputy chief of staff, said the exact same thing. Not only are they not saying, hey, maybe we should retrain these guys, maybe we should try to fix this problem, they are doubling down on it. They're saying, you can go do whatever you want. Don't let anyone stop you. Have you seen Stephen Miller speak on this?
Not the best public face on these kinds of issues, I would say.
He's not the best public face, but unfortunately, he is the deputy chief of staff for the president of the United States. So I think it's very important that you hear what the White House itself is saying about this. This is what he had to say.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties. And anybody who lays a hand on you or tries to stop you or tries to obstruct you is committing a felony. You have immunity to perform your duties, and no one, no city official, no state official, no illegal alien, no leftist agitator or domestic insurrectionist can prevent you from fulfilling your legal obligations and duties. And the Department of Justice has made clear that if officials cross that line into obstruction, into criminal conspiracy against the United States or against ICE officers, then they will face justice.
Okay. I mean, what he said was accurate. It's true.
No, it's not.
If you put,
no, it's not.
Put your hand
I'm sorry. I need to stop you right there. What he said at the beginning of that video, they absolutely do not have complete immunity. It's an absolute falsehood.
Okay, let me leave out the complete immunity part.
Okay, so cool. So just to be clear, the most important thing that he said was 100% wrong, because he literally just bat signaled to all of these federal agents like, hey guys, if you do some fucked up shit, don't worry about it. You have immunity.
Yeah.
Everything he said after that doesn't really fucking matter. And by the way, some of the things that he said were kind of true. Yes, agreed. People are not allowed to interfere with ICE operations. You're right, Joe. They're not. People should not interfere because that's obstructing. They can get detained. That is not good.
Back to Renee Good on that one.
Except, okay, awesome. You go back to Renee Good on that one. That's really interesting that you mentioned that. Did you watch the press conference the day that happened?
I may have or may not have. I don't know. Do you have video?
Well, just out of curiosity, what operation was taking place on that street that she obstructed?
I think they were just traveling.
They were just traveling. That's right. So there was no operation happening, was there?
Well, that's an operation, man.
That is not an operation. You are incorrect, sir. That is not an operation.
Well, let me give you a hypothetical.
No. I don't. No. Joe. Here's the thing. I don't. I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. I hate to break this to you. We don't have time for hypotheticals, and we don't deal in hypotheticals. We deal in facts.
Well,
they were not, sir. What's that?
What if they're traveling down the street and somebody rams their vehicle? They're just traveling.
Did she?
No.
Awesome. So then I guess your hypothetical is just ridiculous, and we're not doing hypotheticals. She didn't do anything to impede an operation, did she?
I don't know.
Well, let me help you. Then let me help you out, my friend, because the day that this happened, Kristi Noem gave a press conference. Kristi Noem gave a press conference, and in that press conference, someone said, "Hey, were you on target?" And you'll hear the hitch in Kristi Noem's voice. You're going to hear the hitch where she realizes she shouldn't have said no. but she does anyways. And here, listen to what she says here.
We'll let the FBI decide.
Were they on target today when they were in that neighborhood?
They were returning back to headquarters, I believe, to start a new operation, had just completed one.
Just completed one, returning back to headquarters. That means they were not in an active operation. Period. The end.
Okay, that doesn't seem to me to be relevant. If a cop is finishing his beat and he's on the way back to the police station,
hold on, time out. Are ICE cops?
Well, any law enforcement officer.
Wrong. Different. ICE are not cops. Different law enforcement officers are allowed to do different things, aren't they?
All right, so you can throw a hammer through the windshield.
No one said you could throw a hammer through a windshield. See, this is the problem, Joe. You keep throwing out hypotheticals, and the hypotheticals didn't happen. She just had her car halfway into one lane of traffic, and everyone could go around her. And tough titties, hold on. Tough titties for the ICE officers that they didn't like that. And if they had a real problem with it, they could have called the local police and said, cite this woman for being in the middle of the street. That's the most that they could have done.
Well, I will concede that. I don't want to get dragged into this.
Good. So then you agree. Then you agree that that's the most they could have done, and they were 100% wrong. And Renee Good was exercising her First Amendment right and did nothing wrong.
I will tell you this. I don't think she did anything legally wrong. No.
There you go. Great. So she didn't deserve to die, did she?
Nobody deserves to die, man.
But Joe, you have to admit to yourself that she got executed on a public street by some thugs wearing masks. Yeah.
Again,
Joe, I know, listen, Joe, listen, I know that you are a fearless Joe. Listen, I can tell by talking to you. Listen, Joe, stop. I can tell by talking to you that you are I think that you're a reasonable guy, and I think that you're a fairly intelligent guy. Yeah. I need you to take a step back here, and I need you to take a step back here, and I need you to look at what's happening in America right now. We have a paramilitary force that's running around our country wearing masks and committing violence against American citizens because the President of the United States and the people around him want it to be so. No other president has done this. You can go, what about Obama? What about Biden? What about Bush? You can do the whataboutisms, and you can point out the bad things that they've done in deporting people. You can. Listen, you can do that.
I didn't do any what about.
Okay, but
I didn't do any
I'm saying you can do that. But there is no comparison to what ICE is currently doing. There's no comparison to it.
I would agree with you. And I think one of the reasons that's compelled this kind of action, and it doesn't please me. It does not please me at all. But the differences between immigration and Obama, they laid this deportation thing on him, was that he really wasn't deporting people. He was getting people very close to the border and simply returning them back over the border. So he was grabbing them very quickly and getting these things expedited. Here we have people now, and let's give them the entire benefit of the doubt that they're only going after criminals. Okay? Let's just, for a moment, say they're only going after criminals. And these criminals have been able to get into the interior of the country, hundreds, thousands of miles, something that wasn't going on to a great degree in the Obama administration. They were allowed to travel great distances into our country. Now,
that's not true, though.
Oh, it is true.
No, it's not.
It's true. We found them in Georgia. We find them in New York. We find them in Rhode Island.
Oh, yes, because there's freedom of movement inside the United States. Like, you're saying that they were allowed to travel deep within the heart of our country. Yes. No, dude, like, some people move. Like, I live in Georgia, and I mean, well, like, I mean, if I want to go and move somewhere else, I'll do that. Like, if my work were to like take me there, or family or whatever, I would move somewhere.
all I'm
Especially
saying,
like when you start adding time to that, right? Like, tomorrow will that happen? Probably not. But over the course of the next 10, 15, 20 years, I mean, probably, right? And
yeah,
you're saying that in the case of that this wasn't happening under the Obama administration, or that these issues weren't occurring or whatever. There are people who are in the interior of the country who they've been here for like 20 plus years. So it absolutely was happening when Obama was president. Like, that's when they came in, right? So, and a lot of the time, it's not that they were just let in and, oh well, whatever, we'll just forget about it. It was typically, it's just paperwork shit. Like, it is genuinely just paperwork shit, because trying to navigate any type of paperwork with the U.S. government is an operation in just pure pain. Like, trying to understand the difference between different tax forms, just as a quick example for anybody that wants to try and to argue that, oh no, it's totally simple. Okay, cool. Tell me the difference between a 1099 and a 1040 and a 1040 easy, and what is a W2? What is a W4? Like, there's all sorts of crazy shit, right? And that's just tax. All of that was just taxes. Now imagine immigration, right?
yeah,
I got a taste, a little taste of immigration, of like 10-ish years ago, when I moved out of the country. My ex, she was British, and we had gotten married. So we literally did the easy way to get like access to both countries, right? So like, she got a green card here because we were married, and then I got their version of a green card there. Okay? Because again, we were married.
yeah,
Even then, it was expensive as hell, and it took forever. The amount of paperwork required was insane. The only saving grace that I had with that is that she was practicing she was like, at the time, like, practicing to be a lawyer, so she was used to all that. Like, that's the difference, is that your average person, holy God. And again, we did the easy way. So, and that was to the UK, not to the US. To the US, it would be way, 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 way worse. So, as far as saying that this wasn't really an issue back in the day, it absolutely was. And it wasn't an issue. It just was.
yeah.
Because the people who are being targeted have been here for years and years and years. And that, I mean, if we're talking about somebody who's been here 10, 20 years, that means that they were here during the Obama administration. That's when they originally came in, probably under totally legit means.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys have made a great case regarding the behavior of ICE at this time, I think. Don't know how they're going to solve this. This would be a great time. It won't happen. This would be a great time for Congress to step up. You wanted MAGA people to come up. One of the things I think I would hope to happen because of the Trump presidency is Congress reestablishing its supremacy in legislation and get back to what the framers intended them to be, as opposed to executive power. Perhaps Congress will once again decide that they behave like Congress, wipe the slate clean, get the immigration laws together so that there could be an efficient process to get people in here legally, and people that would benefit the country. And we can pick and choose properly people that could make the country greater. If we're going to make America great again, yada, yada, then pick people that actually will add value to the country as a whole. Low income, low skills, middle skills, high end skills, and get them in here and get them citizenship as quickly as possible so they become truly Americans. That would be a great thing to come out of all of this.
I mean, I guess, dude, but like not like the whole idea of I don't know, like a points-based system or like a meritocratic system, which like Australia does that, and I think New Zealand does as well. I mean, it sounds great on paper. In practice, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. And ultimately, from my perspective, what is the? Ultimately, you have to look at this from a pragmatic perspective, or at least I look at it from a pragmatic perspective, which is what do we gain by even if we streamline immigration? What do we gain by adding in these arbitrary requirements? Because having like a degree in X or knowing how to do Y, okay, sure. I mean, I guess that's cool, but also that's more paperwork. And
well, I always say that because, for instance, to piggyback on that thing, we've got this emphasis on STEM. Basically, it's produced nothing. But if we're interested in high-end jobs, high-end skilled people that come to the country, then let's make it easy for them to come to the country and become citizens. I know we have the visa programs and so forth, and most. Correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't most of the problems in immigration overstays on visas?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's most, but that is a large number.
Right. And nobody's busting down their doors. I'm going to guess nobody's busting the doors down there, right?
What, a visa overstays? It depends.
Yeah.
It depends, right? Because ICE at this point, they were given like a quota. So Stephen Miller and the Chucklefuck Brigade, the neo-Yazis that make up Donald Trump's cabinet, they came up with a quota. And the directive is, I think it's 3,000 a day.
Right.
They want 3,000 arrests a day.
Yeah.
And that's what they were operating under. And the idea from the racist point of view is, well, there's 20 million of them in this damn country, so 3,000 a day is the least that we can fucking do. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that doesn't work because 3,000 a day. What in practice, what ends up happening is ICE is now looking for any excuse possible to do an arrest, and they are going after people who are not worthy of being pursued. Like we're talking about grandmas who have been here for 50 years and have like whole families and have never committed a single crime, have businesses, created businesses, lived their whole life here, that now we're going after them because back in 2005 they didn't stamp something or some bullshit like that. That is what's ultimately ended up happening. So a visa overstay would absolutely be one of those things, even if they were told as a result of the visa overstay when they were trying to sort it out, hey, don't worry about it. Like this is your current status. And it's like, you won't be hassled with your current status. Okay, well, they have no reason to doubt the government if the government tells them to do that. So there it is. So they could be operating under this assumption their whole time here. And then while that's going on, then ICE comes along and says, well, you overstayed your visa, so we're kicking you out. Well, dude, I was told by you motherfuckers that it was all good. And I went and lived my life. Like, I didn't think about it anymore because you told me I was good. I moved on. I forgot about it. And the point is that ICE, because they want to hit this number, is going after things that are nonsensical.
Yeah.
That's not, to me, that's not a useful.
Like I said, I think you guys have made a powerful case. And my final thought would be this: is a couple things. No more Southern accents to present people as stupid, please. My final thing is this: eventually, demographics are going to rule, and the birth rates continue the way they are, we're going to have to import tens of millions of people to keep this country running smoothly, unless the promise of AI and all that other stuff comes true, and you can do with half the population. But I don't see this as any way out of it. You're going to have to take in 40, 50 million people in the next 30 years anyway, just to keep the population stable. So that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
I thought you said the opposite just then.
No.
I was confused. Okay.
What did you think I was saying?
I could have sworn that you said we have to deport however many millions.
Yeah, I mean,
never mind.
No. We're gonna.
Well, Joe, I think then probably made a mistake voting for the guy who wants to make H-1B visas cost $100,000.
Well, I voted for him for other reasons, but I chose ICE as a domestic terrorist group as the topic because I thought it was the one that was most appropriate of the two up there. Yeah, and I'm sure you don't want to hear my other reasons. I've been on for a long time, so thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Okay, Joe. Well, I hope you have a good evening, and hope you had a nice time in Westfield when you were younger and all. So
hey, good one.
All right.
Yeah, I did. It was a great place to grow up.
All right. Well, I hope we gave you some things to think about. I would, like I said, I talking to you, you sound like a reasonable person. I would really appreciate it if you'd think a little bit more about what we said here, because I think it's important.
I have to be reasonable. Because, as you know, we have an advanced public education system in Massachusetts, far better than Florida.
It's the number one education system in the entire country,
and not to mention our colleges.
Mm-hmm. You mean the ones that Donald Trump is attacking?
Yeah, the ones he's. The guy's a shit talker. I don't listen to most of the shit talk and the vulgar behavior. I just look beyond, because I'm old enough to remember Kennedy and Johnson and their personal behaviors, and it's just stuff you just take a
personal behavior is one thing, but trying to literally take over a private institution and force them to do things your way because you want it to be so as the government, and to force them to teach certain things or not teach certain things because you're the government, that's called censorship.
Well, if they're taking money from the government, that's the game they want to play.
Except for the fact that it's literally not. You're not allowed to do that.
I say that's the game you want to play if you're gonna accept billions of dollars.
Except for the fact that they're literally not allowed to put those types of conditions on it.
Well, until they change it, right? Here's the great thing. I should have gone, but here's the great thing about this country. Trump is ephemeral. They're all ephemeral. They're here and they're gone, and you can do everything you can dream again and do all the stuff that you want to do and make and get the idealized version of the world you want to create. He's a short termer. Yeah. They're all short termers.
I fundamentally disagree with that sentiment.
Oh, dude, he'll be forgotten in 10 years.
No, it won't, Joe. So Joe, just to put it into perspective,
will be a wisp in the wind.
Here. Let me put this in perspective for you, Joe. I'm 32 years old. All right. That means that I was born when Bill Clinton had just taken office. Okay. So I'm 32. All right.
Yeah.
I am still haunted by the ghost of Ronald Reagan, who I was never, while he was president, I was not on the same planet as him, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't a cell. I wasn't anything at that point.
Yeah.
While he was president. And yet I am still subject to suffer for his actions, for everything that the Reagan administration did.
Yeah.
That is an example. Like I, a 32-year-old, am still haunted by a man who was president before I was even born.
Yeah, I won't ask you to go into the particulars.
It's super simple. Like, he permitted stock buybacks. So stock buybacks were illegal before him. Now they're legal. That's one. Two, repealed the fairness doctrine. The fairness doctrine is the thing that most people say, well, that sounds reasonable. That sounds right, which is the news has to report the news. The news doesn't report opinion. If the news gives opinion, they have to give equal time to both sides of a topic. That is, in a nutshell, the fairness doctrine. Most people agree on that. Is it perfect? No. But was it better than not having it? Absolutely. And the fairness doctrine was repealed.
You have found the repeal of the fairness doctrine to affected your life to this extent?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I don't know
that
what to tell you.
very quickly, stock buybacks, fairness doctrine. I mean, you could argue credit scores, I guess, because those came along during that time, I think. Oh shit, what's the other one?
College tuition, if you wanted to.
College
loans.
tuition.
Yeah.
Yep. So
What about-
colleges
I'm
were
sorry, what about that has affected you?
which part?
What about Reagan and college student loan? What is that? What has he got to do with your problem with student loans?
So Reagan was one of the leaders on making college cost money. Because before that it was effectively free.
No.
And he was one of the key
Really?
ones.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. Really.
I know about we know about the GI Bill. Is that what you're talking about?
No, Joe. Did you go to college, Joe?
Yeah, I went to some very nice colleges.
Awesome. And did you go on the GI Bill? Are you a vet?
No, I paid every dime of it.
Awesome. Fantastic. When you went to college, the government was subsidizing about 80% of your schooling. Bet you didn't even know that, did you?
No, I went to private schools.
I know.
They weren't. I wasn't subsidized. Trust me.
So the other one, the third one, was trickle down economics. So those three things have generational staying power. They're not ephemeral, right? So Reagan came along
because of your debt. Is that what you mean? Because of debt?
What, trickle down economics? No, it's because of just how the economy is structured now.
Are you angry about college because you have debt? Is that it?
I mean, yeah.
Well, you chose college. You chose a particular college that and the federal government is probably more responsible after Reagan for driving up these costs because they're of these student loan programs.
I mean, that would imply that there's no agency with the university, right? Well, that would imply that the university itself is not also subject to it.
They were colluding.
Oh, okay. So the whole idea that the federal government is responsible for driving up tuition costs is just kind of silly. Like the private, or I guess not private, whatever. Universities set their tuition.
Clueless. By the way, I'm clueless. I'm a racist, and I'm a dummy, and all sorts of things. I don't know why you guys have put up with me so far.
Okay, so I mean, universities set their tuition prices, right? And they skyrocketed because they could, because they wanted to make money, right?
Because they were handing out loans, crazy loans.
Okay, what does that have to do with the tuition, though?
And the universities responded by raising their tuitions.
Okay, but why did they raise the tuition?
They were sending because everybody wanted to go to college because college is the key to success. What bullshit! Here's the thing.
What bullshit? I mean, so everybody wanted to go to college. Okay, so
Nemo,
why did the universities raise their tuition?
Nemo, when the government started handing out $30,000 a year to an 18-year-old kid to go to get a degree, it's going to cost him, when it's over $200,000. The university says, "Geez, our tuition is only $10,000. Let's bump it to $20,000."
Okay, but what's the rationale for bumping it?
Because the kid was flush with cash. He had the loan.
Got it. Okay, so what you're saying is they bumped it because the student could afford it.
He couldn't afford it. He was having he was having this inordinate amount of money come to him. Let me tell you what was going on. Let me tell you what was going on.
You understand what I mean? Like you said, he's flush with cash.
I know.
Fine.
I know exactly what happened because the kid that I know, I saw it in my own eyes. So the kid's tuition was paid $17,000 a year. He got a loan for $17,000, right? So that took care of his tuition, books, and everything else. Then checks would show up to him every month or so. $2,000, $3,000 had nothing to do with his college education. So what would you do? The kid went on vacation. He went to Florida. He went to Hawaii. He went to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he's 50, 60 grand in the hole.
Okay.
And I told him, send these checks back. Do not cash these checks. You're crazy.
Okay, man. Like, this is that whole paternalism thing. Like, look, dude, when it comes to student loan debt, when it comes to university education, costing money, I fundamentally disagree with it. Education in our country should be a fundamental right. Like that's not that complicated. We already agree on that to an extent with K through 12. We already say that, well, when it comes to K through 12, there are public schools, and we all agree on that. And why do we agree on it? Because it's beneficial for our population to be educated, right? It is ultimately beneficial for our population to have, at minimum, a high school diploma. Now, guess what? It gets even more beneficial if they get a degree.
Depending on the degree.
I mean, I guess. But like if you want to go down this whole thing of, oh yeah, well, underwater basket weaving. Yeah, sure. Are there stupid degrees? I guess. Also, I don't care, right? Because most people, when they're going to college, are they going to college because they're young adults and they're like still, forming their identity and all that shit and they're going to fuck around? Absolutely. But they also are going to college because they're preparing for adulthood. Are there irresponsible people? Yes. Are there responsible people who will do irresponsible things? Yes. Does that mean that we should punish them for that? No. Not when it comes to this. When it comes to something like education, absolutely not. Especially when that punishment is a life sentence. You can't even bankrupt student loans. It's impossible to declare bankruptcy on student loans. That's fucking insane.
I totally feel for people in this situation. Trust me. I understand completely the trap you guys were pulled into. You got hoodwinked. You got totally hoodwinked by this nonsense. And it was easy to do. And it was the government's fault. Totally the government's fault. And both parties pulled this shit. I totally understand.
No, they didn't. It was Reagan.
No, it was not.
Yes,
Reagan.
It was Reagan. When did predatory student loans start, and who spearheaded it? When did predatory student loans start? When did they start, Joe?
Matt.
Joe, it's a simple question. When did they start? And if you don't know, just say, I don't know.
Cost of college.
When did they start, Joe? If you don't know, just say, I don't know when they started. I can explain it to you. Cool. If you don't want to acknowledge that they started under Reagan, and he literally put two of his BFFs in charge of the program so that they could start ripping off kids in the 80s, and that was when this whole thing started, don't acknowledge it. That's fine. Also, when you say things like, oh, well, they started telling you kids that everyone has to go to college, the people who did that was you, your generation. I am 42 years old. You are my parents' age. Guess who was telling us that everyone needed to go to college? It was you. It was you guys. It was literally fucking you. And you know what? The reason that you did that is because you guys all did it because you could afford it, because the government was fucking subsidizing it all for you. And before you go, well, I went to a private college and they weren't. Bullshit. What happened when you were doing it was you just didn't realize how they were subsidizing it. It was the GI Bill, and there was a bunch of kids that were going to school and that were getting the subsidies there extra, or Pell Grants, or research grants, or whatever the fuck it was, because the government was pouring more monies into those schools because of the Defensive Education Act that Eisenhower signed in 1958. And you don't want to listen to any of this shit because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you had it way fucking better than any of us did. You don't want to acknowledge the fact that your generation reached down and ripped that ladder up for the fucking rest of us.
Okay, I can see you guys are really angry about this.
Oh, you think so? You think so, Joe? God, because college tuition has gone up by a fucking insane amount of money, and people like you come on here and go, oh, blah, 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 blah. You guys could just pull yourselves up by the bootstraps and be these kids these days. They don't know what blah, blah, blah. Shut the fuck up.
You know what?
Shut the fuck up.
What? I didn't say any of that.
You literally just did, and you won't even acknowledge the fact that Ronald Reagan literally started predatory student loans. It was Reagan. Acknowledge the fact that Ronald Reagan started predatory student loans. Acknowledge it. Do you know why Ronald Reagan dismantled student public education at colleges and the amount of money that the federal government? It's because he was butthurt about the fact that kids would protest him at the California state colleges. That's why. Reagan had a fucking chip on his shoulder because he didn't like those woke liberal kids protesting. That's why. So before you get on your fucking high horse about any of us or any kid taking money from the government or anything like that, you need to look in the fucking mirror. And if you voted for Ronald Reagan, you're part of the problem. And your generation telling everybody that they needed to go to school, especially people my age, because you are literally my parents' age, you are part of the problem. You reached down and you grabbed that ladder and you pulled it right the fuck up.
Yeah. Okay, listen, I wasn't part of the GI Bill.
I don't care if you were part of the GI Bill. I said that it was subsidizing your school, which means that they could keep tuition lower.
I worked 30 hours a week.
Awesome. You worked 30 hours a week? There is literally no one in this country right now that could work 30 hours a week and afford to go to a good private school. You are out of your goddamn mind.
I paid off my loans as
good.
best I could.
No one else could do that. What you're describing is nothing that anyone could do now. So why the fuck are you talking about it? Good for you, bud. Good for fucking you.
And all I'm saying to you is this. Your anger is misplaced.
No, it's not.
Totally.
It is placed directly at the person who put the system in place. Ronald Reagan and the Republicans in the 1980s, you fucking idiot.
So you
No, I want you. No, Joe, shut the fuck up. If it's not Ronald Reagan and the Republicans, who did it? I want specifics and I want actual fucking information and sources.
No.
Tell us who did it.
So Matt, you finally figured out
I
a way
want
to
you to tell me who did it. Who did it?
You finally figured out a way to scream at me.
I want you to tell me who did it, and I don't want your fucking laughter because you're denying reality. I don't fucking care what you have to say. Either fucking rebut my point or shut the fuck up and say I was wrong. You can't do it, can you, Joe? You haven't lived in Massachusetts for a while, have you? You forget how the fuck we are. Have you lived in California so long that you're fucking soft now, you fucking old man? Grow a pair and tell me who the fuck did this to us if it wasn't Reagan. Who did it? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. I am waiting. No. Who was it?
You want to stop yelling?
No, I don't. I want you to answer the fucking question and stop tone policing and being a whiny little bitch. You're 70 years old. Say who actually did this if it wasn't Ronald Reagan and his cronies who set up the actual fucking predatory lending system that we have now. Who did it?
Okay, you got all your whiny little
If you
big stuff
don't
out, all that
shut
other
the
stuff.
fuck up and stop tone policing me and just answer the fucking question. You look like a fucking idiot in front of 1,400 people right now. Answer the fucking question.
Go ahead, just drop me, pal. It's okay. Just
I
drop
know,
me.
because you know why you want me to drop you? Because you don't have an answer. Is because the problem is you've been backed into a corner and you know that we're fucking right about this, and you know that there's no actual answer. You can't fucking admit that we're right about this. Just admit that we're right. Admit that we're right. Be a fucking man and say, I admit that you are right about this. There is no whataboutism with the Democrats.
What I told you is this. I told you right from the very start that you guys got hoodwinked by a government that
It's
screwed
not
you.
the government, it's Reagan.
That's the government, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You got
I mean,
hoodwinked.
like, it's obvious that you have some type of
And by the way,
attachment to
by the
Reagan
way,
specifically.
By the way, I have no attachment to Reagan. He's talking nonsense. It's just the way you just want to scream at me because you're.
I don't want to fucking do anything. I'm tired of idiots like you denying fucking reality. It's because you can't just say, you're right. It was Reagan and the
Now I'm
Republicans. That's why you can't
Now
just
I'm-
actually fucking face reality. You could just say, you know what?
Are you
As a
getting any
reasonable
donations?
person looking back 40 years, looking back at the
Are you
last
getting
40
any
years,
donations?
shut the fuck up while I'm talking. I didn't give you permission to speak. You could be a reasonable person and look back at the last four. Shut the fuck up while I'm talking. No one asked you to say a fucking goddamn word. You could look back at the last 40 years like a reasonable, intelligent person, and you could say, you know what? Looking back at the last 40 years and the policies that man implemented and the way that he implemented them, we can clearly see the results of them. We know that trickle-down economics doesn't work because we have all of the studies and all of the economic data that say that they don't work. But no, you'd probably deny that too, right? We can look at college tuition and student loans and see how they have not fucking worked. Everything has just gone through the fucking roof. And then we have a huge issue with student loan debt in this country. But no, you would just say, no, that wasn't him. It was the government in general, because you don't want to admit that it was Reagan. Because you would rather say it was the government and blame it as a whole, because then that gives you cover and you don't have to say it was the Republicans, because you don't want to admit that it was the Republicans. That's being fucking disingenuous. That's why I am yelling at you, is because you are a disingenuous old man who can't sit there and actually look at something from an objective perspective and say, hey, the Republicans did something wrong. My Republican Jesus, Ronald Reagan, rest in fucking hell, did something wrong. That's why. If you could do that, we could have a real conversation, but you don't live in fucking reality, do you?
Well, I'll tell you what, you have given me insight. I will tell you that. You've given me insight into what the real, how angry.
Sorry, I didn't mute you. You give me this insight into what? Sorry.
All I can, if you're going to just cut me off, it's
I
fine.
didn't
He
mute
just
you.
said that he didn't
I
mute
didn't
you.
mute you. I
He just said
invited
that.
you to unmute. You can say what you were
Okay,
going to say.
So all I can say is this: is that for all the people who have incurred crushing debt because of this, because of college, I understand what's going on, and I understand how angry you are about it. I totally understand, because debt is that powerful a thing in somebody's life. All right, I had debt too. Took me years and years and years to get out of it, to establish a lifestyle, to get a home, the whole business. It's a struggle. Life is a struggle. But I all I can say is this: is that many times when governments attempt to solve things or to alleviate things, they make it worse, and they made it worse for a significant amount of time following Reagan. If you say Reagan started all this, Fine. Reagan started all this. Remember, Obama was president for 8 years. Clinton was president for 8 years. Were you going to school when Obama was president?
No, I wasn't.
Me? Yeah.
I wasn't.
You were, Nemo?
Yeah. I was going to college the
Matt,
entire time
when
Obama
did you
was
go to
president.
college,
Yeah.
Matt?
The
was president?
early 2000s. Bush was president.
Okay, well, I guess you could blame it on Bush, but these
You
people could have
can't.
changed the situation.
No, they couldn't. And by the way, when somebody tried to change things and erase student loan debt, what happened?
Well, erasing student
When
loan
somebody
debt is a
tried to
different deal.
change things and erase student loan debt, what happened? Who sued him? Was it Democrats that stopped it from happening? Was it the Democrats that stopped Joe Biden? Who sued him and made it not happen?
Matt,
Who sued him?
Matt, it was,
Who sued
it
him?
was unconstitutional.
Who did? Yeah, and who made
There it
sure
is.
that it? There it is. Who made sure that it couldn't happen? Who made sure?
Well, I don't know who exactly sued.
It was Republicans.
It was Republicans who sued. And did they go, okay, well, that's unconstitutional. We don't like that, but we're going to work with you and we'll figure out a way to make this happen. Did they do that, Joe? No, they
Well, for
didn't.
years-
It's because they don't fucking care.
Well, I tried to answer you.
Yeah.
For years and years, you guys, you did get relief. You got relief from your.
Who got
your
relief?
debt.
Who got relief for what?
Well, number one, many loans were pardoned. They were.
Oh,
you-
really?
you were-
Like for what? For who?
Oh, there were billions of dollars of loans that were erased. Billions.
Okay. What's your point?
Well, I'm saying a lot of people got relief,
Okay.
right? Not everybody, but a lot of people.
Not even a majority.
Well, hundreds of billions of dollars of loans were
I'm
wiped,
pretty sure it wasn't hundreds of billions.
right?
I
But-
mean, it depends on the time frame that we're talking about. If
I
you're
think-
if you're
I
talking
think-
about specifically with Biden, then I mean, I guess it was technically hundreds of billions. It was like 170-ish.
Yeah. So I think
Do you know how many student loan or like the collective sum
it's got
student
to
loan
be
debt number?
Got to be trillions.
Yeah, it's like 1.7, 1.8 trillion dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. So like, pointing to Biden forgiving the
Well, I was
like about
asked.
170-ish billion. I'll round up and say it's 200. I'm pretty sure it's like
It's
somewhere
it's
closer to
180,
180.
and I just checked, so it's basically it's just less than 10%. They didn't even barely crack 10%, Joe.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
So like saying that oh well, people got relief and some or lots of loans were forgiven. I mean, that's just kind of
I think
that's kind of disingenuous. Am I happy that people got their student loans forgiven through the public service loan forgiveness program and through well, actually, no, it ultimately ended up only being through the public service loan forgiveness program. And then like through some other tangential means with Biden. So am I happy that they did? Absolutely. Yes. And I pointed to that as an achievement under Biden. I also said that Biden fucked up whenever he used a specific law to try and do like blanket forgiveness or blanket cancellation. The thing that caused Republicans to collectively shit their pants and Ted Cruz and the Chuckle Fuck Brigade to sue him, to sue the Biden administration, to take it up to the Supreme Court so the Supreme Court could strike it down because legally, the law that the Biden administration used was not originally tailored for the population that was receiving the cancellation.
Well,
I criticize Biden for using that law because it was too narrow, and there was another law that he could have used and did not use. So to say that I am I don't know, that I'm trying to run cover for Democrats and be like, well, Biden did all that he could. No, he didn't.
Okay.
He didn't. And if you want me to say Obama bad, guess what? Obama bad, right? We'll just ignore the fact that Obama had collectively over the 8 years that he was president, a grand total of, I think, 70 business days where he had full control of the Senate and the House with a filibuster-proof majority. Only 70 business days.
Didn't he also try to connect student loan payments with the ACA as well? I remember reading about that.
I don't know what that is off the top of my head. I mean,
he was going to pay for ACA premiums to subsidize the ACA with student loan payments.
Okay. I mean, that sounds like a standard neoliberal thing to do. Sure. I mean, but my point is that when it comes to the broader issue, because now, like, you have taken this down into like us arguing the details of student loans and I guess post-secondary education costing money. So my point is, because this started when we said, when you said that, well, Donald Trump is ephemeral. He's here and then he's gone.
Yeah.
I was never alive when Reagan was president. I am suffering for Reagan's actions. The tuition thing is one, but it's far from the only one.
Yeah.
The Fairness Doctrine being repealed allowed Rush Limbaugh to come on to the radio.
Yeah.
And with his ponytail and prescription meds, he indoctrinated a generation of people. Rush Limbaugh indoctrinated. And thankfully, that fucker is now rotting in the ground. Thankfully. I hope that he's uncomfortable. I hope. Because fuck Rush Limbaugh. And so that was allowed to come into fruition, or to come into being. Cable news, Fox News, was allowed to come into being because the Fairness Doctrine was repealed. And guess what? That means MSNBC also allowed to come into being.
Right.
So CNN, not so much. That was kind of its own. It was already there, but
you were not familiar with television before the Fairness Doctrine because you weren't born. But I can give you some insight into it. But I'm not sure you want to hear it.
I mean, go for it. Like,
it was one viewpoint and one viewpoint alone.
It was one viewpoint?
That's not true.
Okay, what was the viewpoint?
That's bullshit, Joe. I was alive, and that's bullshit. Stop it.
It was whatever. Well, in my day, it was whatever Cronkite said. It was whatever.
That's bullshit.
Whatever Cronkite said?
No, that's bullshit. What you're saying is not true. What we're talking about with the Fairness Doctrine is political information. You have to give equal. The Fairness Doctrine says you have to give equal amount of time to each side.
But they weren't doing any of that, Matt.
They literally were. They literally were. That's exactly what we're talking. Yes, they were. Oh my God, dude.
There was no conflict. There was no conflict radio or television until after the Fairness Doctrine was eliminated.
Exactly. That's because then you could start doing shit. And now we have Fox News where they do 4 hours of news and then they call themselves entertainment. And when they got sued for the voting machine, and they got sued. And when Fox News got sued for putting out a bunch of fucking misinformation about election machines and had to settle for $787 billion, they literally labeled themselves an entertainment, and they said that people shouldn't take what they're saying seriously. They said that. Their lawyers use that as a defense. But here's the problem, Joe. People are watching Fox News, and they're going, that's true, that's exactly right, that's true, because they're taking it as gospel and as Bible. And Fox News is sitting there going, you shouldn't take what we're saying as being true. We're entertainment. The Fairness Doctrine being repealed gave us that.
Okay, so you also have other places to go to.
Awesome. When you have other places to go to, tell me when MSNBC has gotten sued for $750 billion for lying about shit.
That's not the point.
It is literally the fucking point. And here's the problem: is that you don't even want to acknowledge the fact that for the last 20 years, Fox News has been the #1 cable news network in America. And they're pushing propaganda, and they can do so legally because we don't have any way to control it.
Well, I thought the way to control it is very simply. You go to school, you educate yourself, and you can discern.
How?
You read books.
I'm so glad you gave that as a solution. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe, for giving that as a solution. What's the solution to Fox News indoctrinating a whole fucking country for 20 years? What is the solution? Well, you go to school. How the fuck do you go to school, Joe? You yourself just said that tuition has skyrocketed and that the loans are predatory.
Nemo.
How the fuck do you expect me to go to school to educate myself?
Did you not go to public school?
You think that public school is going to educate you on political science?
Didn't they teach you to read?
Oh my God.
You really are that fucking slow, aren't you,
I can't
Joe?
believe this, Joe.
No, I'm not.
Didn't they teach you to read? Really?
Yeah, really. Didn't they teach you to read and discern that which you that which is fact from
They
fiction?
taught the whole fucking country to read. And yet here we are.
It's not my listen, pal. It's not my fault that
It's not
choose.
your fault, except you're running cover for the guy who made it so. You want to sit here and act like you are not responsible for it. Your proposed solution, which is go to school and get educated, which you know good and well
When
that
do you
you
take
meant
personal
college.
responsibility
You know
for
good and
anything?
damn well that you meant college and you didn't mean K through 12, but you're retreating to K through 12 because you know that your argument falls apart if you stick with the college angle.
I learned
But
a lot more
in
high
K
school
through
than I learned in
12, the
college.
K through 12 also educated the people who are being indoctrinated by Fox News. The indoctrination would not work if that were sufficient as far as
Well,
education to know better. But
I guess-
apparently that's what you meant, and you totally didn't mean
I guess we're
college.
screwed then. I guess we're screwed because even if you go to college, you can't figure out the difference between fact and fiction, propaganda and real news. I mean, we're really
Since
screwed,
when?
then, aren't we? Are we really screwed?
I mean, like, you just made a claim there about how if you go to college, you can't tell the difference.
Well, you just said people went to college and they still fell for Fox.
No, dumbass. I said that people went to K through 12 and still fell for it.
Oh, well. Okay, listen.
Because that's originally, or because your original argument was college. And when I said, how the fuck am I supposed to go to college? You then said, well, you could go K through 12 because that's how they teach you to read. Okay, that's not what you actually meant. But assuming that you did simply mean K through 12, then the entire country did that. And it clearly is insufficient.
The smartest,
So
most
it has to be
educated-
college. And if it has to be college, then it's impossible for my generation to do that. And for every generation subsequent to mine to do that. You want to sit
Here's the-
here and pretend like you didn't mean that, right?
Guys are angry.
We had a whole fucking conversation about how college was unaffordable and unobtainable now. And you said it was because the government decided to involve itself and subsidize loans. Whatever. The reason is irrelevant because the ultimate agreement is that
Not
it's
irrelevant.
unaffordable. It's unaffordable, right? If it's
not-
unaffordable, if we agree that it's unaffordable and unobtainable for your average person now, you can say, yeah, because of government. Okay, we're gonna disagree on that. We're gonna
gotta
disagree
make-
on because of government or whatever the fuck.
I'm happy,
but
the distinction between Reagan's. If listen, I don't know. Let's say you're right about Reagan and he ruined college and made it awful. Prices didn't skyrocket under Reagan. Prices
Holy shit, dude.
skyrocketed when the government started saying, "Listen, we're going to hand out these massive loans to kids for any degree that they want. And then
Okay.
we're going to send them money that has
Okay.
nothing to do with the degree." They sent check after check after check.
Yep, they
And
did.
People were cashing these checks.
Okay.
And they weren't using them towards their books. They weren't using them towards their education. And they
Yep.
were building huge amounts of debt. Now,
Yeah.
I just want to say one more thing about this. I underestimated how much anger there is out there for people in the generation below me. I really did.
So?
I didn't realize you guys were this angry about this stuff.
Okay.
I really didn't. And like I said, I already said we screwed you. The government screwed you, and we screwed you another way.
Okay.
We're leaving you with unbelievable amounts of debt with the government, and you guys are going to have to deal with the interest on this debt. It's going to change the next generation's whole.
You're absolutely
whole
right.
life.
The Republicans in this country have saddled us with an insane amount of debt, and every Democrat and every Democratic president in my lifetime and Nemo's lifetime has done nothing but cut the deficit while they've been in office, and every Republican president that has happened in my lifetime has done nothing but blow the deficit up. Yeah,
Not
I'm
the
talking.
debts,
Here's what I'm talking about. The deficit is the per year spending, and the only way that we're going to cut down on the debt is to cut our deficit spending. Right, Joe?
Yes. And
awesome. So if you're going to cut down on the debt, how do you start doing that?
There's only one way, and I'll tell you.
You cut down on deficit spending. Very good. I'm so glad that we've all taken economics. So every Democrat in my lifetime has done that. Every Republican in my lifetime has done the opposite of that.
And what's driving the debt, Matt?
Republican spending.
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
No,
Donald
what's
Trump
driving the
himself,
debt?
in his first term added one
Yeah,
quarter
9 trillion,
of the
9
national
9 trillion.
debt by
9
himself.
9
Yes.
9 trillion.
Yes, very good.
And Biden was 4 trillion.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So and those are drops in the bucket over the long term.
No,
And I'll
they're
tell you
not.
why.
No, they're not.
I'll tell you
No,
why.
1/4 of our national debt, sir, is not a drop in the bucket. And you're
I will
refusing
tell
to acknowledge, and you're refusing once again to simply acknowledge the fact that it's Republicans that are causing this problem.
Let me tell you what's driving the debt, and it has been for decades.
Deficit spending by Republicans. It's
it
deficit
is
spending
our
by
social-
Republicans.
it is social.
It's deficit
social
spending.
program.
Nope, it's deficit spending by
Social
Republicans.
program.
Nope, it's deficit spending by
Social
Republicans.
program.
Nope, social programs are not the issue. Do you want to take a look at our yearly budget? What does our
Yes.
yearly awesome? Where are we spending the
Yes.
money, Joe?
Social services.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Do you want to make that
Yes.
your final answer?
Yes.
Social services make up half of our budget.
More than half. Way more than half.
It depends on like
Medicare-
how you're defining it.
Medi-
Like if you are counting
Medicare-
Medicare, Medicaid, and Social
Medicare,
Security, which you should
Medicaid,
not count
Social
those
Security.
because
Why
they are
not?
paid into.
They're paid in.
They're so people my age are grabbing way more money than they ever put in. Way more money than they ever. People are living to 95 and 100, and they're taking out more of that of money than they ever put in. Are you
Okay.
kidding? It's the thing is not. There's no trust fund. It's all a myth.
There's
It's
no
all
trust
bullshit.
fund.
There's
What?
no
Okay, so
social-
now we're putting our tinfoil hats on.
There's no Social Security trust fund, Nemo. It never existed. It's in that sense, the guy who said it was a Ponzi scheme was right. You never, if people continue to live this long, you're never going to be able to make up the difference unless they start telling you guys to pay in more, or you're going to take your retirement at 70 and 75. You're screwed.
So Joe, what you just said, you made an excellent case for removing the cap on Social Security. The pay.
And the interest on the debt, at some point to service that debt, it's going to
Wait, okay, so we're just moving on. We're just moving. You're not going to
No,
address
but
what I just said.
We made our point about Social Security. It's a problem. Medicare is a problem.
You don't even know
People
what I
getting
just said,
older.
do you?
Yeah, fine. Granted. You want to go
Explain
into
it
that
to
too?
me.
You said you want to remove the cap on Social Security.
Yeah,
that
what
not
do
what
I
you
mean
said?
by that?
No, you tell me what you mean by that.
Dude, just say that you weren't listening or that you don't know what I'm talking about.
You're making a claim. Go ahead and continue.
It's not that I made a claim. I didn't make a claim. It's obvious you're not listening. Like, dude, just
What's
say
ob-
that you don't know what I'm talking about.
What's obvious is that we're on the same side of this issue.
Oh my God, don't even try to patronize me with we're on the same side. Like,
We
please,
are.
you have done nothing but sit here and try and remove culpability from Republicans and Reagan this entire fucking time.
It's Reagan. It's Reagan again.
Yes!
Oh God, this guy haunts you.
Yes! That's what I said before we got into this
You
discussion.
need therapy. Is what you need.
I need therapy? Really?
You need therapy.
How do you expect, how do you propose that I afford said therapy?
Well, you
I
can
guess
get
I
it
just have to
free.
wait for you to die to inherit your money, right?
It won't be long. Trust me.
Inshallah.
So
you're a sweetheart.
so these budget expenditures that I'm looking at here.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what's
Is that
the,
a reliable source, Matt?
what's that?
Is that a reliable source? Where did you get it?
It just pulls from the CBO.
Okay, I'll take it.
How much? And this is 2023, by the way, which our
What's
our
the-
budget
what's the
really
green-
isn't sane. What's the big green one?
Yeah, what is the big green? I can't see it. It's small. Tell me what it is.
The military. $1.14 trillion. Oh no!
It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Oh, that's not what we
Yeah,
spend. Oh,
because
that's not what we
what's our
spend on the
GDP?
military.
What's our GDP, Matt?
6.
Why
7,
does that matter?
Why does that matter? It's 6 or 7 trillion, or give or
Oh
take.
no,
but,
it's
yeah.
far more than 6
Wait,
or
no.
7. Not even close.
If
Not even
he
close.
said GDP, our GDP is like almost 30 trillion, but that's
I was
gross
talking about
domestic product. What does that have to do with the budget?
Our military budget, even when we were in World War I, wasn't as big as World War II. Isn't as big as this. It's ridiculous.
Well, that's part of
that's
that
not
is
showing
because
you-
of this thing
that's
called
not showing
inflation,
you-
Joe. But
that is
again,
not showing-
Joe,
that is
why
not
are you
showing you
bouncing
spending.
around? Stop it! Oh my God! Why
is-
did you just say
Yeah,
GDP?
he got rid of that.
Oh,
That
why
is
did you just say
not-
GDP?
I don't have to get rid of it. Here.
Listen, that is not showing you our annual expenses. That's not showing you that. If that green is representing military spending, that is not
I'm-
an accurate description
I'm-
of what we
Hey,
spend.
bud, what I'm showing you is where we're allocating our budget. That's
What-
very important. Where we're putting our money.
Our monies, what we pay out every year, the majority of what we pay out each year is in health and human services. It's not even close.
Hey, bud.
To
Hey, Joe.
military-
Hey, Joe.
military
Hey,
budget.
Joe. Hey, Joe. Are
Hey,
we
Joe.
allocating money to the right places, or as a government, are we allocating most of our money to the military?
We are not allocating most of our money to the military. I don't know what graph you've got there, but I can tell you if it's representing the fact that most of our tax dollars are going to the military, it's bullshit. Most of our tax dollars go to health and human services and interest on the debt. It's not even controversial to say that. That's what's driving the debt.
I am pointing.
And if you don't-
I okay,
You
but
don't get those
okay,
things.
but I
And
don't
if you
know.
don't
I don't know how else to explain this to you. You seem to not be understanding, but that's
No, I
that's fine.
understand perfectly.
Okay, so Donald Trump spent nearly $9 billion in his first term, right?
Trillion. Not billion.
9 trillion. Yeah, 9 trillion. Yes, $1 trillion in his first term, right?
Yeah, hate it. Stupid.
Awesome.
Awful.
Fantastic. What did he spend
Lot of
that?
that was-
What did he
lot of that was
spend that
COVID.
money on? No, it wasn't. Actually, the majority of it was not. The majority of it was
what he
not
spent-
C-19.
I don't know what all he spent it on.
He spent it on
tax.
tax cuts for the rich.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Just okay?
Do I agree with that?
You voted for him?
Look, everybody got a
Why
tax
are you
cut.
laughing? You voted for him.
Everybody-
You voted
everybody
for
got-
him.
Everybody got a tax cut.
No,
Everybody.
they didn't.
I certainly did.
Good for you. You're not everybody.
And I'm not rich.
Hey, by
and
the
I'm-
way, Joe, did you take out a PPP loan?
No, and that's another issue.
Oh, that's another issue? How much did we forgive in PPP loans?
You know the problem with the
How much
PPP
did we
loans?
forgive in PPP loans?
Probably in the trillions.
$760 billion.
Okay,
We had
now
no
let me tell you
problem forgiving $760 billion in PPP loans, but we certainly can't forgive. We certainly can't help kids get their college student loan debt under control, right? Fuck those kids, huh?
Let me tell you about the PPP loans.
Oh, what about them?
They before the program started, they were told they could be forgiven. And people like me went absolutely ballistic and said, this is going to lead to fraud. This is going to, and you're going to have people saying they running companies when they don't run companies. This is crazy. But both parties went for it.
Really,
PPP loans,
really, was it both parties or was it the Trump administration that went all in on it? And by the way, the Trump administration pushed and they got their people in and their people approved. In fact, we have numerous instances we have numerous instances of Trump associates actually pushing fraudulent PPP through. They've been prosecuted for it.
Doesn't surprise me.
Awesome. So you agree that it was actually a number of fraudulent schemes by the Trump administration, because they certainly didn't stop it. Now, did they?
Listen.
So you agree that Trump's first administration was just an absolute fucking spending shit show, right?
Crazy spending.
Fantastic. So when Barack Obama got into office in 2009 and he started ticking down deficit spending, you were cheering him on the entire way, right?
Deficit spending has nothing to do with the debt.
Deficit spending has everything to do with the debt, because if you're cutting your deficit spending, that means the amount that's going to the debt every year is being reduced. It doesn't reduce the overall debt, but you're reducing the amount that is being added to the debt, which is helping to fix the problem, Joe. Holy shit.
Well, you should.
Do you not understand how the fucking deficit affects the debt? If you're increasing the deficit, you're adding money to the debt. If you're bringing the deficit down, you might still be adding money to the debt, but you're adding less money to the debt. You're helping to fix the fucking problem. Holy shit, dude. That is a good thing. Literally, you're talking about that we need to fix this problem, and you won't acknowledge that every Democrat in my lifetime has done nothing but bring deficit spending down.
Well, the reason they do that is because they tax much higher.
Oh, really? Awesome. So Biden, when Biden got into office, did he change the tax plan?
No, he kept the Trump tax.
He had to, right? But his deficit spending still went down. Oh,
well,
oops.
I don't know the exact figures.
Oops.
Well, how did...
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. How did he do that without changing the tax plan, Joe?
I can assure you, Matt, that the deficit and the debt went up radically with a $4 trillion.
I didn't say that the debt didn't increase, but deficit spending went down because Democrats are better at managing the economy. They're better at creating jobs. They're better at managing the economy. They're better at managing deficit spending. You literally have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Well, I guess not. It's probably that Massachusetts public education.
No, it's because of the fact that you're 70 years old and apparently you had too much fucking lead paint in your house when you were a kid.
I actually ate lead chips. That must be it. Now, if you want to spin around and yell at me some more?
Listen, Joe, you can sit here and you can tone police me all you want, and you can you want to yell at me some more? You're just being fucking purposefully insolent. No one gives a fuck, Joe. You know what we need? We need people like you to wake the fuck up. We need people like, no, I just want you to wake the fuck up. I'm not asking for you to die. I don't want people my parents' age to die. I want you to wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up and look around at the world around you. Are you proud of the fucking mass Gestapo that's walking around, fucking unaliving people, hurting American citizens? Are you proud of that? Are you proud of the fact that kids that are younger than me can't afford to buy fucking houses? Are you proud of the fact that they have to go into massive amounts of debts to go into college, which they did not have to do when you were their age? They didn't have to go into massive amounts of debt or to fucking sell their souls just for a chance to own a fucking house in this country. They didn't have to fucking kill themselves working multiple jobs just to make a decent fucking living. Literally, none of those things can happen anymore, and it's because of your generation being fucking selfish and saying me, 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 and looking around at everything and not giving a fuck about the rest of us. If you want, maybe you could just look around for a fucking minute and you could go, you know what? Maybe we should give a fuck about anybody else but ourselves. Think of our kids, think of our grandkids, and we could vote in their interest because we are literally the first generation. And when I say we, you, the boomers, we are literally the first generation in America that made sure that the transfer of wealth didn't happen. We're the first generation in America that made sure that people who came after us had it worse than we did. The first generation of American. That's you. You guys did that. Congratulations. That's fucking boomers. You guys did it. You're selfish pricks. Learn how to fucking vote to help out the people who came after you if you give a fuck about your children or your grandchildren. How about that, Joe?
Well, are you done yelling? I'll tell you. First thing is...
No one cares. Get the fuck out of here. The fuck.
Yeah. So the idea that Trump is ephemeral, it's just bullshit. Like, Reagan is the perfect example of that. And clearly he has some type of emotional tie to Reagan. Probably because, I mean, he said he was 70, so that means he would have been in his late 20s, early 30s during Reagan. So there's probably an emotional tie because like that, he has nostalgia for that. And I mean, the truth is that a lot of things happened under Reagan that we can draw a direct line to today. Our tax structure right now is because Reagan cut it in half and ushered in supply side economics or trickle down economics, Reaganomics, right? And you can say, well, the Democrats are also responsible because they didn't change it after he left. That's a shitty argument because okay, yeah, you're right. The Democrats didn't change it back. So the Republicans also didn't change it back. And you are basically admitting that, yes, that was a problem to begin with. So that's you just kind of conceding the point that Reagan is, in fact, destructive because the consolidation of wealth at the top exploded under Reagan. Like, there, honestly, if you look at line graphs like history that plot this shit out, the separation begins with I think it really begins with like Nixon, Fordish, but Reagan is right around the time that this shit just explodes. So with Reagan, the key things that I've always harped on about Reagan, one is trickle down, so cutting taxes. The other one is the fairness doctrine, and the other one is stock buybacks. So those three things. If those three things could be changed back, there would be notable improvement in the quality of life of most people in some way, shape, or form. When it comes to the fairness doctrine, it's the news reports the news. And the half-ass argument of, okay, yeah, well, now you have Fox News, but guess what you also have? You also have MSNBC. And so you can just watch them instead. I don't want to watch a news outlet that is a counterbalance of propaganda to another, right? So I don't want to watch, like, well, Fox News is right-wing propaganda, turbo, whatever, okay? And you're saying that if I don't like that, I should just watch MSNBC. How about when I turn on the news, I watch the news? Because that's the whole point. That's the point of the news. I would prefer that. Thank you very much. I would prefer a news outlet that if there is spin on topics, that it presents both spins. Not that it only produces one. Because what you're saying is it is now my job to do the counterbalancing myself when it comes to the news. That now another hurdle has been added whenever it comes to learning the truth of things going on. The news is tasked with reporting the news. And when it comes to the fairness doctrine, it says that the news is allowed to report only part of the news, to omit facts or to do spin on facts, right? That is ultimately what the repeal of the fairness doctrine allowed. And I think that's a bad thing, because I think that the American population should be educated and should be aware of what its government and what the country and what the government, what the country, what is going on in this country. People should be fairly notified of what is going on, objectively notified of these things. That I don't think that's an unreasonable thing. And so repealing the fairness doctrine was terrible because it allowed the right wing, which is way better funded, by orders of magnitude better funded than the left wing. The right wing is then allowed to create whole apparatus or a whole apparatus of so-called media outlets that say inherently right-wing conservative bullshit and pass it off as news. Sinclair, Sinclair Media Group, I think is what they call themselves.
Yep.
Sinclair is another example of that. Sinclair is responsible for all, snatching up all sorts of local news outlets and then pushing right-wing interpretations of the news on those local news outlets, because a lot of people will just watch the local news. They don't watch cable news. They'll watch the local news. And that's reasonable, right? Except that Sinclair knows that, and they are now, or have been for years and years and years, snatching up those local news stations to continue to push right-wing shit because the fairness doctrine is gone. Because the right wing is so much better funded than the left. Why? Why is the right wing better funded than the left? Because the right wing is where the majority of billionaires, or, well, not just billionaires, majority of extremely wealthy people find themselves. Because the right wing is going to be more amenable to saying, hey, you're rich, you deserve to keep more of your money and not pay that back to society in the form of taxes. You, the super wealthy, we want to kowtow to you and make sure that you get as much money as possible by cutting taxes, cutting regulation, blah, 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 blah. So because of that, that means that the wealthy will happily sign big fat checks to people that are willing to push those talking points in the right wing, which is why the left wing has always been worse off. And it's also why whenever you point to people or point to individuals or whatever, when you point to examples in the so-called left wing that are well-funded, like the Clintons, it's no coincidence that Bill Clinton, when he came in, did not meaningfully change the tax structure back to what it was prior to Ronald Reagan. Bill Clinton locked in the idea that neoliberalism is the way to go. And hey, taxes should be basically what Reagan put it at. Half of what it was, even under Republican administrations prior to Reagan. So Bill Clinton or the Clintons, well-funded. Imagine that. It's because they're ultimately pushing what was originally a right-wing perspective on tax policy. And that is because the Overton window at that point had shifted to the right, that the moderate or left-wing perspective was, okay, well, maybe we should raise taxes a little bit, but not return taxes to what they were prior to Reagan. So we're just going to raise them a little bit. That was the left-wing perspective. That is Overton window shifting, right? So the whole point is that people on the left who are pushing left-wing perspectives on this are not well-funded. Like, go look at any person that is genuinely like pushing left-wing, like eat the rich type shit. They're not well-funded. I mean, what, you're going to point to Bernie Sanders? Bernie Sanders didn't become a millionaire until 2020. Bernie Sanders is 10 billion years old, okay? He didn't become a millionaire until 2020, and that was because of a book deal. Like, Bernie Sanders, the standard bearer of left wing at the national level for America, did not become a millionaire in his entire life until he was almost 80 years old. I think he was actually 80 years old at the time. So that when it comes to people who are genuinely on the left, they're not well funded because the money isn't there. Even if there are a number of examples of billionaires who actually agree that the Republican tax structure is not actually conducive to improving conditions for most people. Perfect example, Warren Buffett. A quote that I never get to say because I always forget that I have it, and the topic rarely comes up, but Warren Buffett famously has said, you want to keep a system where the goose lays more golden eggs every year. We've got that. Now the question is, how do those eggs get distributed? And that is where the system needs adjusting. So, that is still standard neoliberalism. That is saying, hey, the system has its faults, but it's still okay. We just need to tinker it a little bit. That is standard neoliberalism. But guess what? Even he is sitting here saying that we need to figure out how to properly distribute the wealth in this country. Warren Buffett is one of the top 10 most richest people on the planet. And so, I mean, even he has the sense. I have talked to people who have more money than I will ever earn in my entire life 10 times over. And they have agreed that yes, the way that the Republican Party, especially this hyper right-wing nationalist psycho party, the way that they are going about anything relating to fiscal policy in this country is ultimately destructive and is not the right way to do it. And that the Democrats, despite their many, 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 many faults, and there are plenty, that the Democrats, ironically, the way that they handle fiscal policy is better. Because the Democrats, the way that they handle fiscal policy is actually not all that offensive to people who are hyper wealthy, because it is ultimately the same fiscal policy that they pushed for back during the Reagan era. That's the truth. Occasionally, you will get one or two little crumbs from Democrats at the national level, like Democratic leadership at the national level, unified push by the party at the national level. You'll get crumbs of like progressive or whatever policy to help your average person. Okay, cool. But it's vanishingly small in the face of everything else. Mm-hmm. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't vote for Democrats, because between the two, Democrats are absolutely the best option. Yes, that is lesser of two evils. Lesser of two evils. Yes, that is electoralism. Yes, that is two-party system. Blah 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 blah. Vote blue no matter who. Woo-hoo, cry. Yeah. Okay. Look, until we get a fucking Marxist party up in here that actually has money, organization, and fucking power at the national level, I'm absolutely going to vote for the Democrats. Would I vote for the Marxist Party if it existed at the national level and could actually achieve something? Of course. But it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's a reason that DSA, Democratic Socialists of America, there's a reason why they are antsy about identifying themselves as a third party. Because even they understand this. There's a reason that they don't run candidates like that. The Green Party does, because the Green Party is intentionally there to be a spoiler. The Green Party, I mean, these motherfuckers have ensured that my lifetime was haunted by George W. Bush and Donald fucking Trump.
Yeah.
Because in 2000, the Green Party ran a motherfucker named Ralph Nader. And in 2016, they ran a motherfucker named Jill Stein. That's the Green Party.
On behalf of Lebanese people, I apologize for Ralph Nader. I just want to get that publicly out there. I have a couple of folks to thank real quick. Thank you on the tube to Nina. Says a whistleblower released a memo today that ICE was operating under the policy that they did need a judicial warrant to enter private property. FYI, I was just reading that article. Thank you, Nina. Nina also said they unalived Silverio Villegas in Chicago. Yes, thank you. And Nina also said, save this clip, Matt, for legal purposes. I don't know what is going to save people like me. Save it all. Thank you, Nina. You're very kind. I appreciate those super chats. And thank you to Verum and Rigo Berta Martinez and CIO 100. Appreciate those gifts. And then also on the Blue app, sorry we didn't get to these while the guest was up. We were a little involved there. Thank you, Tara, for your two about the women, about the people with ICE. I appreciate that. Serena said, it is wild to me that a boomer is surprised that our generations are angry when his generation not only screwed our generation, they fucked over our children's generation, maybe even their children's generation. Thank you, Serena. Absolutely. Thank you to Andy on the Blue app. It says, way to enlighten Mr. Magoo on Reagan and corrupt ICE agents. Thank you. Neely, thank you, Neely. Except for yelling at Joe while we all yelled at our phones. Thank you for that. Neely, I also got your video on the in messages. I'm going to hold on to that one. I appreciate that video. Thank you very much. And then last thing I want to say before we move on, or if Nemo may have some to read, but before we move on to anything else, Joe down in the comments there, because he seemed like he's still chirping, said that I led everyone to believe that Reagan took free college away from Americans. Apparently, I've led you all to believe that. Now, I'm pretty sure that what I said was that the government used to subsidize about 80% of college. Roughly. Think that's what I said. Now, you can go back on the tube and feel free to watch what I said exactly. But I'm pretty sure that that was what I said. And I explained that he moved to stop that from happening. So, anyways, don't think I ever said that we had free college in America at any point in time. But just FYI. Seems like you weren't actually listening, Joe, or you're just being, once again, completely fucking disingenuous. Cool story, bro. Anyways, all right. Let's see what else we got here. We're gonna move on. Talking to hello, Richard. Hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
How Hitler, nigga. How Hitler. How Hitler.
TikTok, we absolutely do not condone what that last guest said, and obviously, his views do not match up with ours. And man, that's just absolutely terrible. But what else can you expect from Trump supporters these days? We've blocked him and removed him immediately from the live, and we do love the TikTok shop so much. By the way, if you haven't, please consider going to my showcase and grabbing your own copy of People's History of the United States, written by Howard Zinn, one of my all-time favorite books. It's a great book. I also have copies of a few other awesome books. Under the Banner of Heaven by John Krakauer, John Adams, another book that I really like. And The Power Broker by Robert Caro. All books that I've mentioned here before. Strongly recommend all of them. And by the way, if you don't want to buy those through my showcase in the TikTok shop, go to your local library and get them, or borrow them from a friend, or used bookstore, or whatever. I don't fucking care. It's fine. But all books that I would strongly recommend. So there. And by the way, just so you know, that guy was in and out of the request for an hour trying to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even offensive to me at this point. Like, I mean, to people out there, this is one of those things. This is a key thing to remember. They're saying it to get a reaction, and I mean the whole thing that everyone needs to do is not react. Like, obviously, yeet them if it's something like that. Yeet them because, but yeah, don't react. If you can help it, don't react. Because, like, it's something that, I mean, and this is my experience as someone who, I'm a dude, grew up, and, teenage years dude, right? And teenage years dudes will say the craziest shit to get attention, or to be like, oh my God, like, you said crazy shit, right? It's the super offensive jokes, or, dark humor, whatever, right? It's just an extension of that. It's the Xbox Live, Modern Warfare 2 lobbyification of politics, right? Like, that's what it is. The people who were screaming into the mic on Xbox Live all those years ago saying the craziest shit. It's the same mentality, right? So most of these people aren't even they couldn't articulate what they believe on that, and they certainly are not serious about it, and that, like, it's just a troll thing. So I mean, that's why, like, I understand how people can be really pissed off about, like, when they hear shit like that. I mean, I think that the best thing to do is to try and just make them feel embarrassed to say it. Just like, they're cringe.
Yeah. Super cringe. Pens fan, hi, I invite you to unmute. Did you vote for Donald Trump? Hello? Pens fan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, did you vote for Donald Trump?
No, I didn't. But I'm sorry. You have. I didn't see that.
It's okay.
I had a question.
Well, you know what, friend? We're just looking for Trump supporters right now. We might have time to do, like, questions or friendlies in a little bit, but we want to try to see if we can get a couple more Trump supporters before we have to wrap up. Okay, friend?
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate you, though. I appreciate you guys very much. We're gonna see if we can get another Trump supporter on up. Mr. Sparky, hi. Did you vote for Donald Trump?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. How old are you and what state did you vote in?
36 in Georgia.
Okay. Do you want to talk about one of the subjects above, or something else that Donald Trump is doing right now?
No, I want to talk about, I'm a genuine person. I've been on y'all's lives for a long time, and sometimes I get on here and talk stupid shit, especially to Nemo, because I know he lives in, like, Rome, Georgia. I live in Carrollton, Georgia. But on the last individual that was on, y'all were talking about college and stuff. Look, so I grew up in a conservative family, and they kind of mind fucked me in a way, pretty much to push their agenda on me. And so I was in honors history class, and we had to take a test to pretty much to define us, like, which side of the aisle we would vote on. And I was on the Democratic side, but my parents kind of manipulated me. And And in a way, like, so I listen to y'all's lives, and a lot of the things y'all say is true. And I just feel like I'm in like a tight spot where it's like, man, I don't know who the fuck to vote for next term.
Okay. Well, you should vote for people that further your interests. How about that?
It's just a thing, like, both sides are just like, I don't know, like the Republican side and the Democratic side. I don't know, man. Like, the things that like the leftists do, I don't believe in. Like, that recently happened with like Don Lemon and all those so-called protesters.
What do you
I don't
mean that
believe in
what
they-
happened with Don Lemon? What happened with Don Lemon?
with the going into the church and scaring little kids and such and such.
Oh, I'm sorry. He went into a public place and he asked a public figure a question as a journalist. It's America. He's allowed to do that. Really? You were concerned about that? It's so weird. I didn't hear you saying anything about the ICE agents that tear gassed a 6-month-old in a car.
But you didn't let me finish.
Okay. But this is the problem, man. It's like, I can already tell this is like, we're going to be drawing false equivalencies here, right? Don Lemon is a journalist. He went into a public place that was open to the public. He didn't storm into somebody's home. He didn't do anything illegal. He went into a public place and he asked a public figure questions as a journalist, as is his right in America.
But is it considered a public place when you're inside that church, or is it considered a public place when you're outside that church?
Can he be asked to leave?
Wasn't he asked to leave?
Cool. And can they remove him if they want to?
You're right.
Cool. Awesome. What's the problem?
There's no issue.
I own a private business. Same thing.
Yeah, you can trespass whoever, right? Like, you can call the cops and have whoever charged with criminal trespassing if they stay on the property by the time the cops get there. You can absolutely do that. But I mean, you know, when we're talking about both sides are the same or whatever, I mean, when it comes to your individual life and the material conditions in your life, like the quality of your life, is it really fair to point to, well, the left wants immigration and the right wants to do a pogrom? They want to do like some type of crazy racial cleansing thing. I mean, that's what Stephen Miller wants. If that's me being too hyperbolic, then okay, they want to spend hundreds of billions of dollars going door to door and trouncing on our right to privacy, our constitutional rights.
Correct.
They want to go door to door to remove certain people from this country by any means necessary. And if Americans have their rights trampled upon in the process, so be it, right? I don't think that those are really comparable, you know?
Yeah. It's the thing too, is like, I feel like I'm more left leaning now, because I have conversations with like my friends that are like Latino, and we have conversations about like these ICE agents like removing so-called illegals that came over here illegally. And I said, you know what? I believe in, if they're great human beings, yeah, they may have came over here illegally, but if they're great human beings, they're working or they own their own business, and they're not causing any harms, like, keep them here.
Yeah.
Send out the bad ones, the I don't know the TikTok terms, but
I mean, like,
you know what I'm talking
criminals. Like, I mean, yeah, like criminals, like any undocumented immigrant that commits a crime, and to the right wing that's going to try and play coy. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying the right wing would be coy and say, well, entering the country is a crime if you don't do it the right way. That's
But
not
but in
who
a
we're
way
talking about, right?
But in a way, they were allowed to come in.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously it depends on the situation, right?
Right.
But to the core, the spirit of what you're saying, your life is not genuinely affected by people who are here under not correct means, who are not hurting anybody.
Facts.
And Democrats generally agree with that. Like Democrats at the national level have been kind of shit about pushing back on this. But like your average person agrees with that sentiment.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say your average Democratic voter agrees with that sentiment. This idea that, well, we don't know who these people are. Do you know who the person is that lives in the house 3 neighborhoods away from you? Like, do you know that person? Do you know every single person that you walk by on the street or when you drive by, whenever you're driving around? Like, do you know who they are?
No.
Like, do you know that they're American? Do you know that like if they have a criminal record? Do you know X, Y, and Z? No, of course not. Because that's insane. Why would you ever know that, right?
Yeah.
And because you don't know that, I mean, if it's actually you being scared about, well, but these people could be criminals, we don't know. The same also applies for someone who is born here that you simply do not know. Like, the same also applies, right? And the truth is that when it comes to crimes and stuff, that immigrants commit way less crimes.
Yes.
And like, that's not even down to, well, there's fewer of them. No, it's not that. It's like the rate of crime committed by native born Americans versus immigrants is insane. Like, the native born Americans commit so much more crime. Like, the rate is so much higher. So really you're almost safer in the situation where you keep immigrants here. And I mean, to your point, if they're not hurting anybody and if they're like, working and minding their business, like, I mean, shit, who cares? Because like, is it worth it for our tax dollars to go and be spent harassing people? Some of them are going to inevitably be American citizens who did not do a goddamn thing wrong, right? Is it worth it for us to spend money doing this to get out what a certain amount of people? Like, does that change anything afterwards? Like, if you could press a button and be like, okay, well, boom, now all the people who were here illegally are now no longer here. What changes? Like, in your life, what changes? I mean, arguably, things do change, not for the better. But, like, for your average day-to-day, like, does it make you getting employed easier? Does it make things cheaper? I mean, no, it makes things more expensive. Food will be way more expensive. Construction will be way more expensive. There are so many things that will actually increase in price. It doesn't help us. And it's purely just like well, I was told that all of my problems are because of this particular group. And I am blaming this group for all of the ills in my life. And I am therefore going to punish them. That's kind of where a lot of the right wing is. And it's not helpful at all.
And I was thinking about this too, is like all these so-called Republicans that talk about these companies hiring illegals. I was sitting back and thinking about it, is like a lot of conservative companies actually hire the illegals more than Democratic companies do, like the people that run these companies that are more like democratic. It's the Republicans that hire these illegals that pretty much screw the Americans over.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump himself, there were a number of people that he employed at like his hotels or like his golf courses or whatever. That it turns out that they were undocumented or something. They didn't pass X, Y, and Z or whatever, right? So, I mean, like there's an irony there, right? Like the guy who said that immigrants are the cause of all these different problems in America, that immigrants are poisoning the blood of America, that immigrants are causing prices to go up, make things expensive, make your wages go down, all that shit. I mean, he literally engages in the behavior that he is saying is apparently causing the downfall of America. It's crazy. So if you ask people, if they're given two options, if they're given an option of doing mass deportation or mass amnesty, most people will pick mass amnesty. Not just Democrats. Most people will pick mass amnesty. There's a reason why Reagan went that route back in the day. Ronald Reagan did mass amnesty. It was 2.7 million people were able to get amnesty, basically permanent residency, or green cards. They were able to get green cards here. And it's because Reagan understood that they are a net good. Immigration is a net good for this country. You can find certain situations where immigration, or I guess, yeah, we'll just stick with immigration. You can find certain situations where immigration can be hurtful to whatever. There are absolutely going to be certain situations where that happens, but on the whole, immigration is a net good for society. When you factor in all of the situations where it has negative outcomes versus all the situations where it has positive outcomes. And so you do the math, take all the negatives, take all the positives, smack them together. It ends up being positive. It ends up being, at the end of it, a net positive. And so I wish that the Democrats would communicate this a bit better, because they suck at this. They suck at communicating. But your woes, your problems, your day-to-day problems in life are not because of people coming here seeking a better life. Like, it's not that. It's not because of somebody who was smuggled in here by the cartel, right? And you can say, oh, well, the cartel smuggled them in, and that's the cartels are bad. Yeah, absolutely, the cartels are bad, 100%. But that doesn't make that person bad. If they are trying to get in here by any means necessary to have a better life, they're not trying to hurt people. They're just trying to get the fuck away from whatever it is. Correct. And they're willing to go over rivers and mountains and valleys and jungles and deserts and fences, barbed wire, and hide from people who will shoot them on sight. If they're willing to do all that just to live a life where they feed their family and mind their business, look, to me, that is somebody who has more grit and more of the thing that we talk about whenever we talk about, the American spirit. That to me is more of the American spirit than somebody who was born here and who is saying, hey, well, we need to deport all these people, America for Americans. Dude, there's such a difference there. Genuinely. And I think that, like, a lot of people that have that sentiment, they need to go out of the country. They need to, like, live in another country for a year or two, just somewhere. And I mean, obviously that's not doable for a lot of people because it's expensive, but when I lived outside of this country for a few years, it dramatically changed the way that I looked at America. I want America to be better. I want it to be better. I know that it can be better. I know that it can. And I've learned so much of American history. And I've seen these examples of America doing truly great things, rising to the moment, rising to a challenge, and winning, beating it, beating whatever challenge it is, rising to the occasion and doing it. We've absolutely done it. We have the ability to do it when we want to. And it's just a matter of saying, hey, let's do that, right?
Yeah.
Eradicating smallpox. That was a direct result of the world that we created after World War II. After World War II, the UN is created. United Nations. Okay, what does the United Nations entail? The World Health Organization. Okay? The World Health Organization says, hey, I think that maybe we should try and get rid of certain diseases. Okay, cool. Smallpox. That was the first target. Why? Because smallpox was fucking nightmarish. People would have permanent scars. I think that the death rate was 1 in 3. Hyper contagious, right? And we said collectively, hey, let's get rid of this. We know how to get rid of this. Let's get rid of it. And over the course of years and years, over the course of multiple presidential administrations, there was a concerted effort to say, hey, we're going to do this. We're going to make sure that people have the certain shot that you need, and you won't get it. And we're going to keep doing it day in and day out, year after year, administration after administration, Republican and Democrat. We're going to do this. And we're doing it because this is the outcome of this is worth fighting for, and it's worth doing it. And then finally, I think it was 1970, maybe 1980, we declared it globally eradicated. There are 2 places on Earth right now, only 2 places on Earth, that smallpox still exists, little samples of it. One is in Atlanta, Georgia, the CDC. The other place is Moscow. That's it. Those are the only 2 places because we eradicated it. And that's an example of American exceptionalism of, is it solely America? No. But we led that. We created the system that we then used to achieve that. That is an example of greatness that we as Americans should strive for, right? That is that greatness, right? That's not what Donald Trump points to. When he says make America great again, he's not saying that. He's saying that he wants to make it like it was in his childhood when there weren't as many brown people here, and when racism was okay, and when things cost less, even though it's literally impossible to do that. It's for this nostalgia for something that was his childhood. That's not how that works. We are all of us, every single one of us, all 1,200 people in here watching right now, every single one of us is nostalgic for a time when we were growing up, when we were ignorant of the world, when we didn't know of everything, of all these terrifying things going on all over the planet. We're all nostalgic for when we didn't know. When we were growing up. Ask anybody, and they will say a time period that is very close to whenever they were a kid or a teenager or whatever. They will all say it. I was nostalgic for the 90s and early 2000s, even though in the early 2000s, that was George motherfucking W. Bush and all of the, all that, right? And guess what? I'm nostalgic for it. I'm nostalgic for the 90s. But I guarantee that people that are older than me are nostalgic for the 70s or the 80s. Even though the 70s and the 80s, that is Nixon, that is Ford, that is Reagan. But they're nostalgic for it. Donald Trump is, he is, what, 80? He's about to be 80 years old. He is nostalgic for whenever he was growing up, when he was a kid or a teenager, which would have been the 50s. That's what it is. But he's not nostalgic for when, like, for these, he is not pointing to, hey, America can be great. We can do great things. He's not pointing to that. He's just trying to relive a time when he wasn't scared of everything. Correct. And that's one of these things that people need to accept, is that, unfortunately, part of becoming an adult is realizing just how fucking scary the world is, right? But that doesn't mean that whenever somebody says, make America great again, that they are going to magically hit a button and rewind time to the 90s or to the 80s or the 70s or the 60s or the 50s. It's not how that works. There's so many things that go into how things were during whatever time period. And it's also not a matter of that time period totally great, because it's not, right? Racism was rampant during a lot of those decades that I just listed off, in horrific ways. Sexism, holy God, right? So say when I say that I like, or that I love what my country can be, that I love my country, it's not because I love what my country has done, or that I love the idea of my country, right? It's the difference between patriotism and nationalism. One analogy that I've seen with patriotism versus nationalism, because they're not the same thing, is that a patriot loves their country like a parent loves a child. A nationalist loves their country like a child loves their parent. Whenever you're a kid, you're gonna sit there and be like, oh, my dad will beat up anybody. He's the strongest. He's tougher. He's smarter. Blah blah blah. Right? Even though that's not true, obviously. Whereas when you're a parent, it's like, hey, you know what? Little Timmy can't run great, but he fucking loves to run. So I'm gonna cheer him on when he's running, and we're gonna see if we can make him better at running. But if we can't, then I'm gonna support him. I'm going to support little Timmy either way, because he's my son and I love him, right? That's the difference. That is the key difference. Donald Trump has called himself a nationalist, and he governs like a nationalist. He governs like a child looking at a parent and saying, America is the greatest. Guess what? Like, America's the absolute greatest. Fuck anyone who says otherwise. And we're going to punish them if they don't agree with us. That's insane.
Did you watch the Trump speaking about like Greenland and stuff? Like a lot of the shit that he was spewing out of his mouth, I just didn't like. And then him saying about individuals calling him daddy and shit like that.
I'm sorry, I hate to correct you. You mean Iceland?
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just kidding, because he kept calling it Iceland all day. I'm very concerned about it.
Correct.
I mean,
correct.
He just... Yeah, and the whole, things like that are just, it's just very concerning. It's very concerning. I mean, you have to, I'm sure that it seems like maybe you're looking at things through a different lens now, and I'm sure that you're maybe looking at a speech like today, that, and being like, something's not right.
I've been looking at a different lens, man, but I've been stuck, man. And the thing is, like, what really pushed me about voting for Kamala Harris was during that time, like, this was the only thing that pushed me to vote Republican was I'm a genuine person. Like, I love everybody. I'll take my shirt off for anybody. And, like, I just feel like the Democratic side, they push the white race so much, or race this, race that, like, and it's like I kind of felt like I was put in a corner, and it's like all they do is talk about the white race all the time. It's like that's not me. I'm not a bad person, and it's like if you constantly keep honing on white people all the time, then it's like I'm gonna get pissed off about it.
So that, like, what you're describing,
like Jasmine Crockett.
Well, like what you're describing about the Democrats talking about white people or whatever, that is part of what caused me to get radicalized back in, like, I don't know, 2015, 2016, because, like, it was easy to find these clips of the Democrats saying all white people are fucking evil or whatever, and there's a shit ton of context there, right? Yeah. And a lot of the time, like, these clips are devoid of that context. I think that part of it is also that your average person doesn't have all of the knowledge that goes into somebody making a statement like that. And so if you take the statement at face value, it sounds really fucked up, right? So part of that is what contributed to me falling down the alt-right pipeline, the crazy alt-right cuckoo rabbit hole, right? And I managed to get out, and I'm obviously not anywhere near alt-right anymore. So what I've learned, and what I try to tell every, I mean, especially every white dude that is open to learning and is open to having conversations, which you're open to having conversations, what I try to convey is that when you hear things like that, it's not literally saying you specifically. It's a broader thing. It's a generalized thing, right? It's like whenever somebody from another country says, "Oh, these Americans, they are all fat and they like hamburgers and the rock and roll," like,
yeah,
all
I
that
see where
shit.
you're going from this.
You know, like, it's these general statements, right? You may have heard, like, the saying that a hit dog will holler, right? It's the idea that, well, you get defensive if it applies to you, right?
Right.
So I have learned that, you know, when it comes to these general statements, that it's not literally directed at me. Like, that's something that I feel like a lot of people that are white dudes that are open to learning and defensive, and they're like, well, that doesn't apply to me, or, you know, well, I'm not hateful, or I'm not racist, or I'm not sexist, or blah 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 blah. I feel like that, unfortunately, causes a lot of people to shut down, and then they fall the other way. My lips are chapped, by the way. I'm sorry. So what I try to say to people in that position, in the position I was in, is just listen and don't take it personally. Try to compartmentalize. Try to say they're not referring specifically to me, whatever the statement is. It's not being directed specifically at me as an individual. The statement is speaking broadly. It's talking about, like, well, white people in history have done some shit, right? Which is true. That's true. Like, go look at history. Holy God, colonization, American history, you know, slavery. Woo, you know.
Yeah, we were sick motherfuckers. I mean,
absolutely, right? And so, like, the same way that you're compartmentalizing there, where, you know, you can accept that, yeah, America's done some horrible shit, and like, you know, white people have done some horrible shit, like, you know, European colonization and stuff. You don't take that personally because it's not actually talking about you, right? Even though you are white, even though you are an American, even though you are like a dude or whatever, it's not like, that statement is not about you. It's about people that look like you in a general sense, right? It's not directed at you. It's that is one of the key things that causes a lot of people to it's like a stumbling block for a lot of people, is realizing that, you know, when you hear these things of like whenever it's all white people are racist or whatever, there's a lot that goes into that, a lot of nuance that goes into that you don't hear when you hear that statement. Because when you hear something that says, when you hear someone say all white people are racist, what that actually means is there is a system in this country that was built by white people to benefit ultimately white people and to not benefit anyone who's not white. Now, that's not to say that people who are not white can't benefit. It's just simply that they have to work twice as hard for half as much, right?
You're correct. I mean, we us white individuals, we took a lot of these black inventors. There's things that they invented. We stole them, and then now they're making tons of money off of the shit.
Yes. So, like, I mean, it sounds to me like you're totally reasonable on this.
But yeah,
so
like I was saying before, I was stuck, man. Like I had conservative Republican parents that were boomers, and a lot of the boomers I fucking hate. I mean, I do. But yeah, I mean, I was stuck, man. I mean, like I told you too, like I took a test in high school. I was mostly on the Democratic side of things. And I went to college and I took another test. I went to KSU. If you know where that's at.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that what's important is, one, you're willing to learn. What my piece of advice is simply try to compartmentalize that, right? Like whenever you hear Democrats say, like Democrats, the political figures or whatever, say whatever about white people or men or America or whatever, it's about compartmentalization. It's not it's not directed at you specifically. It is a broad critique.
Yeah, I understand.
You shouldn't take it personally, because if you can sit there, and I do this all the time, I hang out in a lot of spaces where things like this are said. If you can sit there and listen and not get defensive, not say, well, hey, that doesn't apply to me, or, well, you know, not all white people, or not all whatever, not what, if you can like try to fight that reflex, and if you can just sit there and listen, then you'll learn so much. And eventually you'll get to a point where you'll understand this was never directed at me, because it wasn't ever about me individually. It was about a broad general group, right? You'll realize that. And then you won't it won't even occur to you to become defensive. It won't occur to you to be like, oh, well, you know, like you won't have to defend yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because you won't feel attacked. It's a matter of getting past that urge to try and fight back, or to try and change what is being said about, like, oh, well, you know, you're not including the nuance. The thing is that the nuance is there. It's just a lot of people don't know it, you know, and nuance is not something that you can slap onto a bumper sticker. And I think that's kind of the problem that the left has, is that there's a lot of nuance that goes into a lot of statements, and a lot of the time, you know, like for instance, ACAB, like all cops are bastards, right? I mean, a lot of people will say, well,
there's a good bit, but there's good ones too.
Right. See, that's the natural inclination, is to say, well, hey, there are good cops, or, you know, like one of my buddies, he's a cop and he's blah, blah, blah. That's the initial reflex, right? ACAB is not literally saying that 100% of police are evil. ACAB is saying that there are enough evil people that are police, and police broadly have a practice of covering for each other. Something called the blue wall of silence. They'll cover for each other.
Yeah, you're correct. You are correct.
Yeah. And if you are covering for a bastard, what does that make you? I mean, right? So that's the idea. The same thing is true with Black Lives Matter, right? What did people say whenever they first heard Black Lives Matter? Well, all lives matter. Thank you very much. What about white lives? What about brown lives? Like all lives matter. Black Lives Matter was never saying that other lives didn't matter. It was simply saying Black Lives Matter too. Because for too long, society acted as if they didn't.
Correct.
That's all that it meant. There's a nuance there, but you can't slap that onto a bumper sticker. You can't put that in a slogan. You see?
See, I used to hate a lot of the fucking cops, dude. Like, so I grew up in Douglasville, Georgia, and the cops there are corrupt as shit. And I was wrongfully arrested over a traffic ticket that this truck in front of me that had a trailer that didn't have brake lights, and I was ticketed. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go try to fight it. And so I ended up in front of this judge named Judge Rollins, and I stated my own opinion, and he didn't like it. He wanted to make an example of myself. So he's like, you're in contempt of court for perjury, which all I did was talk about the cop and how he acted. And I was in prison for 10 days, and I owed all this money, and I had to do a bunch of community service. And then it was pretty much the same cases. I don't know if you heard about that Muslim lady that was in Douglasville that was arrested wrongfully for not taking off her job.
No, I don't think I did. No.
Where Nemo lives in Georgia. He's not too far from me.
Okay. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah, but anyways, like, yeah, I used to hate all fucking cops, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think the main thing here is if you look at this like Nemo is talking about, and you don't take it personally, that is like it's not attacking you, right? It's not like that. This situation is not. It's not just specifically directed at you, and people aren't saying we hate you because you're white or you. That's not the specific thing that's happening here. It's really not.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so when you look at this and when you talk to people, or if you hear rhetoric or different things like that, all you have to do is you need to remind yourself that there are bigger things. There are bigger things that are happening. And it's really not a bad idea to be in spaces where you can listen to people of color and listen to them talk and listen to what they have to say and gain an understanding of a lot of things. And, once you start understanding things like redlining in America, and you know what Black Wall Street was, and you learn about the vast systemic racism that still exists today in America, you start to understand. You're like, okay, yeah, I mean, I kind of get it. It's kind of fucked up, and you could see why people would say those things. But I don't need to be part of that. I don't need to be part of systemic racism. I can take myself out of it, and I can try to push back against it, and I can be a part of not systemic racism. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be one of those bad cops, you have to call out the bad cops, right?
Yes, sir.
So you could do that, man. I mean, if you really want to learn and take in some new information, which I'm taking you at your word that you do, then that's a good start, man.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys get on the next individual, but I appreciate y'all's time, and I always sit back and watch, man.
My mod in the chat did. Do you like to read, or do you do Audible?
I do.
People's History of the United States. Have you ever read it, or have you ever heard about it, or you maybe have heard me mention it?
I heard you mention about it, but I haven't read it.
If you get a chance, you can get it on Audible. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on TikTok Shop, whatever. But it is history of the United States, and it's written by Howard Zinn. But the reason why I like it is because it includes a lot of things that you didn't really learn in school. That there's a lot of very real shit about American history, and it will cause you to face the things that America did head on, right? The way that they treated indigenous people, the way that they conducted the slave trade, the way that they treated women, the way that they treated just poor people in general. The way that we trampled on workers' rights, the way that, just America did a lot of really great things. I'm very proud of America for so many reasons. And my family has only been here for just a couple generations. I don't run that deep in America, but I'm still very proud of this country. But this country's also done a lot of shitty things, and we should acknowledge that, and we should recognize it, and we should be able to be like, hey, there's some fucked up shit that happened here. And it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that and move on. If we acknowledge it head on and we don't bury our heads in the sand, then that's the way to get past it. People are always like, we should stop talking about race and we should stop talking. Like, okay, then let's really talk about it and face it head on, and then maybe we can move on. So if you want, it's just a thought. I don't know. Maybe you find history boring. I really like history, but it's just,
I love history. I mean, I was always in AP classes with history.
Oh, okay.
So I love history.
You then, if you were in AP classes, if you took AP American History, I took AP American. I could think what do they call it? AP U.S. History now or whatever, but AP American History when I was in school. But you might actually know some of the stuff that was in there. Because we definitely touched on more in-depth subjects in AP, but still, there's even things that I didn't learn. So that's all. I'm just throwing it out there for you because it seems like you want to learn.
That's fine. Right? I'll look at it, man.
All right.
But I appreciate it, Matt and Nima.
All right, man. I hope you have a good night. I appreciate you coming up in good faith and wanting to have a real talk. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have a good night.
Oh, you too.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Someone was saying that they wanted a clip of the little speech that I gave him, and then someone else was saying they want a speech of earlier. I think that was also him.
Oh. Well, guys, it's all over on the tube, FYI. You can go over, everything is on the tube. Politics with Matt. You can find a link right in my bio. And you can rewind, you can clip it if you want. And then also, as soon as we're done, it'll take a few minutes to process and upload, but then it's all fully available over there. So you should be subscribed. If you're not already subscribed, head on over there, and you can rewatch it. You can rewatch the entire stream. You can screen record it, clip it, whatever. This is all available for you guys. The name of the book is People's History of the United States. It is in my showcase under my bio. Like I said, if you're so inclined, you want to grab it from the TikTok shop, great. Otherwise, borrow from the library, get it on Audible, get it from a used bookshop. I don't care. It's just a book that I highly recommend so that people know where this country came from. We need to be honest with ourselves about this country's origins and who built this country, and on the backs of whom we built this country. Okay, let's just be honest, and people need to understand that. Maybe if we were honest with ourselves, we could move on. Maybe. Probably not, but maybe. All right, let's see. I'm going to guess that these are not ops, but let's see what we got here. Brittany, you're not a Trump supporter, right? I didn't think so. Real quick, I need to say thank you. Thank you to Tara on the Blue app. It says now we have 200 cases of measles a day in South Carolina. God damn it. Thanks, RFK Jr. And also thank you to Ilana on the Blue app. Ilana said, I never do this, but thank you for all you do. I listen daily in your lives. Help me get tasks done and makes me not feel so alone. That's really sweet, Ilana. I'm glad it can help you not feel so alone and give you something to engage with and listen to. That makes me very happy for you. Thank you, friend. That means a lot. Thank you. I mean that sincerely. And thank you again to Tara. If you think the government wouldn't do things to you, read that book. They absolutely will harm you. For sure. So, absolutely.
Thank you to Kara for the Blue app. He said, please tell him Trump pivoted when he learned her father was MAGA. This is from earlier. Sorry I didn't get to that sooner. But yeah, he did. Neely, thank you for the 666. You said, for yelling at Joe's dumbass. Also, fuck Ronald Reagan. Damn right. And Tara, thank you again. You said, I know I am safer statistically with an undocumented immigrant than a cishet white man. That's true.
It's very true. It's like fucking by every metric you want to slice that by. Also safer than you are with a faith leader.
Definitely.
Puff Puff Give. Hi, you're not a Trump supporter, are you? I think that was also a mistake. I kind of figured. Okay. Well, you know what, guys? It is. It's close to 2. Don't have any other ops in the box here. I don't have any other box. I don't have any other. There's no what's in the box. No one's in the box. That's what's in the box. No one. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, before we wrap up though, maybe we can get up to 300,000 likes. We could push Nemo up a little bit higher. We could knock out that last live goal. Those things that would be nice. It would be great. Any last minute support would be good. That's all fun. But But yeah, I don't know, guys. I think we're hitting that time where it's oh, thank you, Secret Squirrel. That was very kind of you. Appreciate that, guys. You guys have been really very kind. Thank you. Let's see. By the way, if you guys wouldn't mind, I do have a couple of new videos up. If you wouldn't mind interacting with those, I appreciate it. Especially that one. Thank you, cute crazy Catwoman. Especially that one with Oslo. I really like that slogan that he came up with, "America for all," and I agree with his sentiment that we need a slogan that people can all get behind. I really like that. So I don't know. You know what? Go if you click on my video, you can click the stitch and go to his video. And if you agree with the sentiment, I strongly encourage you. To boost that post. Like and share and all the things, because I think that it's very difficult to argue with that sentiment, right? It's almost in the same way where it's like, make America great again. Now, we know that there is an argument to be had as to why that's not great, but on its surface, it's a good slogan. It's a good slogan, right? Who doesn't want America to be great? What's wrong with you? Why don't you want America to be great? So I get it. But America for all, it's like, what do you mean you don't want you don't want America for everybody? Cool. Who isn't it for? I want to ask that. I want to start asking that question. Like, I want that to be the slogan so I can start asking people that question. And I think that's a really great question to ask people. So, anyways. So, yeah. Let's see. Nemo, Brenna is live. If you wanted to go over there, I don't know if she's doing political stuff. I see that Joey is live. And I see God of Logic is live. I don't know if you have any preference.
Let's see what Brenna's doing, and then if she's like ending or if she's not doing political stuff or whatever, then raid Joey.
Let's see. She is what's she doing? Oh, she's talking about, so Brenna's actually talking about Minnesota stuff. I believe that she is she's there. So I think she's actually talking about Minnesota things. So it's something like that. I don't think she's doing debates, but she's talking about some stuff there. Also, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, but Good Trouble is there also. So just as an FYI. So yeah, let's go. Let's go, Brenna.
Yeah, let's raid Brenna, and then if y'all are looking for debates, then raid Joey.
Yeah. Either way, make sure that you say that we said hi. I'm going to put her at in the right here. It's just her. It's just Perez Brenna, just last name, first name. So there we go. And so wherever you go, just tell them that we said hi. Okay, head on over, and it'd be good shit. Okay. All right. We'll be back on tomorrow night. We love you guys, and we will see you. We'll see you on the morrow.